Alright. So we got all that going. That's good. And what else? Alright, Bob El Zub. One thing we didn't exactly go over, another thing for your character. Did you want to be a Thrune agent like the rest of the PCs are? Like, do you want to have the glowing thing? Did I already ask you this?
Um, yes.
Yes, I asked you this, or
Yeah.
yes, you want?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so yeah, so in addition to being a member of the Church of Moloch, you have at some point sworn allegiance to House Thrune, and independently of the rest of the party, but you have one of these glowing Thrune runes.
Yeah.
Where is yours? Where's Bob Elzoob's?
On his butt, so he has to moon us.
I was thinking about that. It's on the bottom of his left foot.
Bottom of his left foot. Okay, that is canon now. It is written down. All right. All right, yeah. So you get the benefit of the feat. I don't remember exactly what the feat does, but I think the first time you go negative, good things happen for you. Someone else might actually know what it is, but we can add it to your sheet after this. That is pretty much it. So yeah, we're good to pick up. So the party is split, as Chris noted in the Google group. So we're going to try to move quickly through both of these pieces, without fucking anybody over, hopefully. And we'll see how well that goes. So at the end of the last session, you guys were you had taken, it was the morning, and you had taken the body of the skin shred, the remains of the skin shred, into town, and you were basically playing up the incompetence of the Glorious Reclamation. How is it that all of these monsters are spawning? Like all of a sudden, Thrune was here. This never happens. All of these things, and Nero and Iwin were really playing this up. And it was working very well. It was getting crowds very, very interested in this horrible freak of a monster, and everybody was kind of nodding along, like, these monsters were not here, just a few months ago when Thrune was ruling this place. So it was going over very well, and then Oppian came just happening down the street and started interrogating you, just lots of questions. What is this? What happened? Blah blah blah. And Nero, why don't you explain exactly what did you guys tell Oppian?
We explained that around the little Uskwood that Bob got into it with this creature, and that the thing grabbed him and operated his body and started speaking unholy words and casting spells on us, and we managed to kill it, but in the process, Bob was killed as well. But chose his words very carefully. I'm like, where? Near the Uskwood. What do you mean, where?
Yeah, you said.
Huh? Why are you asking questions?
In the vicinity of the Duskwood is
yeah.
The little Uskwood is what you said. There it is.
Huh? What?
What? Yeah. Yeah, you were intentionally vague, but gave enough information that Oppian is pretty sure that Boozlebob did perish in this fight, and it happened in the vicinity of the Little Uskwood. So,
and that he has the hots for Loredana.
Yes, Nero did. I think it was Nero, right? Or was it Vors?
It was Nero.
Okay. Yeah, so Nero noticed that while he was talking and while you guys were giving information to Oppian, he seemed overly concerned with Loredana and asked you a very specific question. Is she okay? Did it happen near her? Was she around when it happened? And he was kind of lingering on that subject a little more than Nero thought would be required. That is accurate. So after that happened, he basically stormed off, trying to get, he was visibly flustered and frustrated with the way things have been going on, and especially the impression you guys have been creating around town where they can't, the Glorious Reclamation can't do anything right. So he was going to find Phaedrith Zane, proclaiming to everybody, an official investigation will begin immediately. I'm going to go find Phaedrith Zane, we're going to take care of this right now. And he left, Nero saying, hey, can I come with you guys? And he kind of just shrugged you off and said, So Oppian went to go find Phaedrith, and you guys are free to do what you like. But as I mentioned in the Google group, presumably they're going to be looking for that site Nero mentioned very soon, and you guys have to stage something, is the current plan, I believe. So what would you guys, what would you guys like to do?
Vors, do you think you can get some equipment for our friends in short order if we start heading back now?
It's certainly possible. I'll have to... fuck, what's the guy's name? Where's the Dockmaster?
kind of?
Yeah,
I think it's Jonas.
yeah. I'll probably have to go talk to Jonas.
Why don't you do that, and we'll head back. I've got something in mind for the site.
Okay. Split group becomes more split.
This is going the opposite way.
Well, we're in a safe area. We're not fighting thugs.
You're about to fight a fucking mage and paladin.
I just want you to get him ready to get us what we need. And then just hustle back after us. All right?
All right.
Okay, so Vors is going to the docks, and everybody else is
On Skarta.
on Scarzo.
because-
Okay.
Yeah.
Is anybody going with him, or is everybody else staying at the Little Uskwood or in the vicinity of the Little Uskwood?
I think Iwan would stay unless Boris wanted her to come. She would just stay at the end.
No.
All right. So then we'll do the staging first, real quick. So Nero, basically, what is your plan with the staging of the scene here?
So Nero, through a combination, he's going to basically talk Iwan through it as they walk back. That through a combination of Plotty having sharpness, the zombie having great strength to slam around like he was someone wearing Boozlebob's body, and he's going to then summon a Dretch to like claw through some trees and basically instruct him like how to claw through some trees, and then what he wants is he's going to see if he can get the where are those cats from?
Needleese?
The Needleese. He's going to see if he can get the Needleese to do some superstitious stuff like, set up stuff to burn ahead of time because they are superstitious about the whole thing.
What do you mean? I didn't follow you with the setup stuff to burn. So what do you want the Needleese to do?
I want to sort of get the idea that they pushed the burning the pyre right now, and sort of like the whole peasant way of, like you step into a building and you cross yourself to ward off evil kind of thing. Like we need to burn this now to ward off evil.
Okay. Yeah. If you've got a couple gold, the Needleese are very happy to accommodate you. They're fine. They're looking for beer money.
Sure.
So yeah, they do things like that. They basically start doing actual authentic Needleese stuff. They don't care about them. They don't care about the wives' tales or the rituals that they're enacting. But they're actually doing the kind of warding off spirits sort of thing that you have instructed them. So yeah, they will do that. And I like the use of the Dretch too. Have a hero point for being creative with that. I like the Dretchiness. All the scratching and using the zombie lumbering around. Very good flavor.
Do we need to keep track of spells for this?
Yeah, this is the same day. Things will happen, so yeah, you should keep track of your spells for the summon and everything. All right. So is there anything else that Nero or Iwan you want to do during the say you spend like 45 minutes to an hour staging this scene?
Right. And Nero basically is going to also bring up with the Needleese that I'm going to need some of your clothes. So I'm planning to get you your property today, but I'm going to need to rush you out of town afterwards. There's going to be some blame to put around. I don't want that blame to be able to come back to us, if you get my drift.
Nikolai is very interested. He nods very heavily at that. He's like, "Yeah, I'm getting a little, antsy. You can kind of see he's looking around. He's a little scared about everything." Hello. I think he's frozen.
What?
I can see Jeff in that line, but they're frozen.
Oh, I can't see Jeff.
Anyway.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Does Brexter give off an evil aura even if he can't be seen?
It is. I'm pretty sure it's vision, or but very thin materials won't block it. Like if he's in a bag, it won't. It's not. Not going to protect him. But if he's behind a thick enough wall, or if he's behind a sheet of lead or stuff like that, that automatically blocks the vision. But if he's just behind a thin counter or something, he might still be detectable.
So if he's in a quiver, where I have him currently stashed.
Yeah, he's probably visible. Yeah, because as an evil outsider, has a stronger aura than just a human who happens to be evil.
Okay. So I would have instructed Brexter to stay with Nero.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Nero. Yeah, so Brexter will be hanging out back at the Little Osgood. What else is going on? Okay, so that's it for you guys, and...
Oh, one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Nero wants to basically impress upon Loredana that she's going to have... I need you to not want Appian here. When he comes here, you're not going to want him to dig, because if he digs and finds out what actually happened, it's going to be trouble for all of us. So I need you to not want him here. He's going to listen to what you say. You're going to have more pull than I might.
She nods and says, I understand. That's it? Okay. Alright. So you guys are setting things up there at the Little Osgood and the vicinity of it. And Vors, you and Skarta have gone off to the docks. And I'll take you. I'll leave Skarta there for a little bit. But I will go to the docks. Boop. Alright. Map should load pretty quickly, hopefully.
Those boats are fantastic.
Right? Yeah. I really should have upgraded them in the time we've had since between sessions, but I really didn't. And my dog wants to come. I'll be right back.
Did we lose Jeff?
He's been frozen for a while, yeah. There goes the video. Oh, there it comes back. Hi.
Hey, sorry about that, guys.
Alright, so Vors, you are back at the docks, and just approaching it, you can already tell by the noise and the number of people you've seen moving through the gate that this is much busier than the time you last visited the docks. It appears that one of the ships that was moored here has left, and a new merchant vessel has arrived. And there are lots of people working to unload the new vessel.
Is the gate open?
The gate is not open.
Then is Jonas visible?
Yeah, you can make Jonas out. He's over there. He's near one of the boats. He's basically barking orders at some of the dock workers. But you can make him out among the others.
Okay. I get his attention after I study him.
Yeah, so you stare at him for a little bit across the way. And yeah, he comes over. And you watch as he, the dock is just filled with tons of boxes and riggings and things like that. And you watch as he very nimbly moves. Like, he grabs, like Pirates of the Caribbean type stuff. He grabs one of the things and, flies across, angles off the boat, kicks off, and goes, whee, and comes over to here. Very agilely, just moving through his docks. Like, he owns this place, basically. And he comes over to the inside of the first one. And he asks you, what do you want? What's going on, Vors?
Do we have a quiet place that we can talk?
He says, sure, my office. And he brings you over to his office. It's a very tiny room. It's got basically a bed and a desk and very little floor space. But yeah. He says, please, what is it?
Well, it seems business is going well. You guys look busy here.
He shrugs and says, it's better than it has been, but it's only one boat. People are excited. I guess the Oath Day market is tomorrow, and this is which one is this? Oh, this is a foodstuff. A ship came in with foodstuff, spices and stuff from Central Cheliax.
Interesting. Have you had any harder wares come through?
He says that he haven't yet, but there's another ship due in before the market tomorrow that I'm expecting to have some more interesting stuff on board. Anything in particular you're looking for?
Yes. How 20 people, how much, would one crate, be, 20 people's worth of armor and, weapons,
That's a great question that I don't know off the top of my head. I would just say call it 3 or 4 crates, because especially if you're doing like chainmail and stuff like that. So, but what exactly are you asking them for?
I said, I'll tell him. I was like, oh, well, for whom are those bound? Or like, or who are like, did somebody order those, or are they just here for the market?
Oh, he looks a little confused. He's like, what? He's like, I thought you were talking about, and he begins touching his nose. What are you? Yeah. What are
No, no, I'm talking harder wares, nothing soft.
His eyes go big, and he says, it's really hard to get stuff like that through the docks, especially with the militia volunteers. And he gestures outside. You might have seen them. In addition to the dock workers, there are some people with pole arms walking around. And Jonas says that every box coming through the port gets inspected in front of visibly in front of everybody. It's very hard to get weapons through the port.
Well, what if they didn't have to come through the port? Perhaps, say, 3 or 4 crates got lost, and somehow found themselves on the bank, upriver.
He strokes his chin a bit and he says, that could be arranged. That could be arranged if such a shipment were to be coming in.
Well, say if such a shipment could be coming in, and it could be arranged. I'm sure that it could be quite profitable.
He nods, and again you see his eyes go big a little bit. He very quickly betrays that he loves money. He's very much interested in your money, and he says, at double the normal rate, I could easily see that happening within the next day and a half.
Okay. I tell him if it goes smoothly, we'll do triple.
Oh, he actually claps his hands there at the end, and he says, "I'm certain something can be arranged," but and he kind of pauses for a moment before adding, "You're not looking to cause too much trouble with these weapons, are you?"
Jonas, you'll be just fine.
He says, "That is all that matters to me." All right. Anything else you want to say to Jonas?
No, I just shake his hand.
Okay, yeah, he shakes your hand. He's very happy to be dealing with you. And, he says within the next day and a half, he can get, somewhere upriver. He'll let you know where to go when it's there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Scarta, tally-ho.
Away! Alright, so you come back, and I'll jump you back to this map. And your friends, Nero and Iwan, have staged the scene, as it were. And we're going to jump for a moment over to Boozlebob and...
Bob El Zoob.
Bob El Zoob. Lo siento. Bob El Zoob. And Zara Orsolani, the Marilicta of the Order of the Rack, the Hell Knight Order of the Rack. And about a dozen or so Thrune loyalists that you have. So, Bob El Zoob, you went there. Let's see. How would you act among these prisoners? So, again, they were all here much longer than you. The revolution happened, let's just say, like a month ago. And you only got put into the same cells with them maybe a couple days ago. Maybe a week ago, tops. So, how have you been acting among the prisoners generally in the week you've been here or so?
Well, how have they been treating me? Because, they watched me beat a guy to death.
You mean recently? Have you beaten a guy to death in this prison before the last session?
No, I mean when we were all getting out of the prison, I beat a guard to death.
Okay, yeah. So people are acting kind of scared of you. But prior to the prison escape, most people didn't give you any shit because you're a big, strong guy, and everybody that you've seen, except for Zara Orsolani and Rima, the chef. Everybody is very visibly sick. They're pale. They have sunken-in eyes. They're very tired and exhausted looking. And the rest of the party who looked at them last session couldn't figure out what exactly was wrong with them. But they all blame the halfling ghosts that visit them at night in the prison camp.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Boozlebob's just being really nice to these people. They're his buds.
Boozlebob or
Trying to... whatever.
Just call him Bob.
Bob.
Roberto
El Zoob.
So he's been he's been really nice to these people, and he's trying to make them fight for him.
Okay.
Why
Bob
doesn't he
Elser
just
was-
make them fight for him? He is an
Because-
anti-paladin.
Because it's easier to win their hearts than.
How are you doing that? Like, just sort of just do a little bit of RP. What are you saying to these guys to get them on your side? How are you uniting them? Under what are you uniting them?
I got them out of jail. I beat the guards to death.
I mean, everybody else got them out of jail. Zara Asani was out of the jail. You were in the jail with them. They got you out.
I mean, I can just intimidate them.
You can.
There you go.
Would you like to? So basically, you're gonna go ahead and make an intimidate check. Just
I'm just saying. Okay, so I'll suggest to them that they will fight with me, and I'm a really nice guy.
and you try to scare them into it.
Yeah.
That's actually good enough for, I'm pretty sure, all of the regular footmen. It's not good enough for Zara. And it is good enough for Rima. Yeah, so everybody is very much afraid of you, especially because I did watch you beat somebody's head in. Didn't you have an improvised weapon? You didn't even have a hammer. Weren't you just hitting them with what were you hitting them with?
No. I think Vors gave me a weapon.
Oh, so you did have one.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were just like
Yeah.
throw a rocket, like just clonking somebody to death.
No.
That's too bad. But yeah, okay, so people are generally afraid of you. And you've been saying, like, you will fight for me, you know, we will fight together. And people are, they're more afraid of you than anything else. So they seem more afraid than loyal, but they are, you know, some of them are genuinely excited to be fighting for Thrune again. Like, they're happy, but they are very, very weak. Even the ones that are excited to fight are very physically frail looking. So, as you're doing this and you're intimidating people, Zara, you notice, is very quick to be giving orders, because she's a Hell Knight and she's very high ranking in her Hell Knight order. So she's very quick to start doing, like, telling people what to do. Like, they're trying to set up a camp. It's like, you, go find some firewood. You do this. So how do you take to that? She's not ordering you around directly, seeing that you're scaring people.
So Boozlebob tells all of the loyalists to listen to Zara. Bobby. Roberto. That's right, Roberto.
Yeah, so Roberto does what?
Roberto is telling all of the loyalists to listen to Zara.
Okay, so you're going along with it, but you're saying, like, I'm me, she's her. You can go along with her for now if you want.
No, I'm saying that they should listen to her.
Okay, they should listen to her. All right, good, got it. All right, so give me 3 things that you would do while setting up a camp in the woods. What would Roberto volunteer to do in the woods?
He'll go try to chop down some trees, I suppose.
Okay, that's one. What else you got?
He'll murder some animals.
Hunt. Okay, murder animals. And what else you got?
I don't know what else I suppose Bobby did good at.
You can, although you don't have access to a forge, you can make weapons like spears and stuff out of wood.
Yeah, I could. Alright, fine. I'll make some weapons for people.
All right. So you're going about your day, chopping down trees, hunting, making simple spears and stuff for the rest of your allies here. And at some point in the evening, actually it's in the night, a scout comes back and reports that a glorious reclamation patrol has made camp for the evening in a ruin nearby. So Zara and you are the best equipped and like the only healthy people in the group. You have enough gear and weapons to equip 3 of the injured soldiers if you want, but if you take them with you, they won't get a full night's rest and won't recover from whatever is affecting them. So you can take up to 3 of them if you want. How many would you like?
You don't have to go. Remember, you don't have to go.
also true! Zara, on the other hand, is very much getting ready to go, and she's snapping her fingers, expecting more than 3 people to come, even though they don't have enough gear.
Boozlebob tells Zara to handle it.
Bert.
Bert tells Zara to handle it.
So Zara's snapping her fingers, and 3 of the most excitable soldiers, but not necessarily the most healthy, they stand up and they grab whatever gear they can find, like a spare shield, a sword, a spear, whatever they can find, and Zara is basically whipping them into shape. All of the other ones are too infirm to even volunteer. Like they feel ashamed and they look down when Zara's snapping her fingers. But Zara realizes that these are very injured men, very sick men, and the three that she'll take the three that stood up.
Boozlebob, Bob Elzu, Bert over here wakes up Loyalist 1, 5, and 2
Yeah.
and says, "Come on, I'm the spooky ghost."
You say, "Come on, I'm the spooky ghost."
Yeah, the ghost that they're afraid of and can't sleep.
They shake their heads. So you're not the halfling ghost. You've seen it too. It's the real thing. They're not imagining it. You saw like this.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm yes, I know. I'm messing with them.
Yeah, they shake their head. They look very confused, and they say, like, no, like, please, let us sleep this night. It's nighttime right now. Like, let us rest. We promise we'll be with you in the morning.
Bert says, "No, come on, we're going."
You did scare them. Loyalist 1 says we don't even have enough weapons.
It's a fair argument. We'll get a tree on the way or something. We'll make you a spear.
Okay, so you're gonna give them all improvised spears.
Yeah.
All right. So you're taking the additional 3. All right, with improvised spears and no armor.
They don't need armor.
They don't need armor. Got it. I'm gonna put this armor buff to remember that they don't have armor. All right. Yeah. So Bob Elzoob, aka Reverso, and Zara Arslani are heading off to go see what they can do about this problem with the Glorious Reclamation scouts. Taking you to a new map. Boom, boom. So you guys are moving through. It's nighttime now. You're moving through the darkness. Do you guys have a torch?
I assume we do.
All right. So you guys are moving through the darkness, and you're using your torch. And I'm gonna make a secret perception check. In the meantime, secret button. Why isn't that working? There it goes. All right. So you guys are approaching, and you see out in the distance, up on a little raised hill, the flickering of a campsite in the ruins of a tower. It's not a very inconspicuous spot at all. It seems like someone who's very confident in their safety in the area has made camp in a very obvious spot. And as you get close enough that it becomes, you can see them, you figure they can see you, you douse out your torches, so now you're approaching it in the darkness. And how would you like to proceed with this?
I'm gonna lay back and let them, go up first. We'll send the weakly armed people in first.
You mean the unarmored people in first?
Yes.
So Zara begins barking orders, and so the 3 unarmored people are more loyal to you, and the 3 armored people are more loyal to her at this point. And how are you ordering your unarmored people?
I think we should go in there first, guys.
They look at you like you're crazy. Like, what?
They're less likely to be threatened and start attacking with 3 unarmored people.
And they look at each other again. They're confused. Like, you mean they'd be frightened because we're not wearing armor?
No, they wouldn't be frightened. You could go in and infiltrate the enemy.
They all look very, very confused. What do you mean infiltrate? Like, and they all look confused. Like, are we rushing them now while they sleep? What's the plan?
Boozleba, Bob Elzu, Bert asks Zara what she wants to do.
Well, Zara she's been snapping her fingers and pointing for the other Thrune loyalists to take up positions around the ruins, and they're kind of just sneaking up around it.
All right, so my guys will go to each of the exits then.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they will get ready to spear people in the neck.
Okay. So you guys are sneaking up, and as one of your unarmed guy, loyalist number 2, is coming to the north exit.
He's lightly armed.
Sorry, he's lightly armed, unarmored is what I was trying to say. Yeah, so your guys are moving up as well, a little more aggressively than her guys. But when Unarmored Loyalist 2 gets there, he sees, moving around the campfire, a Glorious Reclamation Sergeant is on patrol, on watch. But he has not noticed anybody yet, and you guys have gotten remarkably close to him. So that's where the Loyalists have set up. Michael, where would you like to be? Where would Roberto Elzub like to be?
Well, I can't see anything.
Oh, can you not see anything here at all?
I mean, like I see like a thing here.
Well, this is
I don't
unfortunate.
think.
Fine. This nighttime thing is causing more problem than it's worth. There. Now you can see him.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Oh god. They're everywhere.
I see daylight.
Right?
Okay, can you point to where my people are then?
Your people all have little armor icon on them.
Okay, cool.
Because they don't have any.
Because they're not wearing armor.
So my guy would be here.
Yeah, you can move yourself. You're gonna be hanging over there.
Yeah.
All right. And Zara was coming around, I guess, the other way down here, next to her ally. All right, and then we'll roll initiative, and we'll see what the heck happens. What are you gonna do, Bob? And you get a surprise round because hey, they don't know you're coming. They didn't see you. Zara goes first, and she is going to try to sneak up to here. And I'll make a stealth check. It's pretty good. I hope the Loyalist perish. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so Zara walks up, and I'm pretty sure she has a range attack. Let me confirm that before I make a fool of myself. Yeah, so she's going to ready range attack for when everybody else runs in. She's got a crossbow, and she kind of levels it at the sergeant who's walking around. Thrune Loyalist 4. So this is one of your guys, Bob. So are you giving the command to charge? Is that what's happening?
Bob tells my guy. No, my guys are delaying until I go.
Okay, delaying. Loyalist 5 goes. So I'm going to use Loyalist 4 for all of your guys and Loyalist 5 for all of her guys, for reasons. Would Zara have healed up? No, they didn't rest yet. This is still not nighttime. Everybody else kind of, it's fine, but whatever. Through Loyalist 5.
What the?
What is that noise?
What the fuck was that?
Was not me. What happened?
It was
I
a
don't hear it
spooky
again.
ghost.
Is it me?
I don't know. It was the ghost.
It's terrible.
What was the
Whoa.
Through Loyalist 5 walks up behind Zara.
What?
Yeah, it happened again. What is happening?
All right, Naz, what are you doing?
Naz, what are you doing? Naz.
Every time I unmute, I think it happens. So I just will say
So I can't mute anymore.
No,
It's happening again.
no, you're making it worse.
Stop it! Also, there are 2 squires that are sleeping on the ground. Now you got like, a heartbeat
What
going
is
on.
that?
Naz.
Someone's like making dial-up noise.
Naz is killing everybody. Alright, so all the other loyalists are waiting. I gotta remove a bunch of tokens like an idiot. Alright. And the sergeant goes, and the sergeant still hasn't seen anybody sneaking up yet, right? Oh, he does. He notices this guy. Who made a stealth check? Oh, Zara. She notices Zara. So he turns to look at Zara, and she has her crossbow ready. So as he begins to walk towards her, she immediately shoots at him. And that is a miss. So the crossbow bolt hits behind the sergeant, who begins shouting and draws his sword as he walks over to one of the squires and begins kicking them awake. Bob Elzub.
Bob Elzub comes up her,
Yeah.
and you know what he does.
Yeah, 22 is a hit. So he has his sword out and he's kicking his friend, and you walk up behind him. And how do you hit him? Explain how you hit him with your hammer.
All right, so I was made fun of for his headdress being superior to mine. so Boozle Bob, takes a second and aims the hammer at his neck, like at his spine and his neck, and then cracks him with the back of the hammer because it's got like the ball on one end and then the hammer part on the other end. So he hits him with the ball part.
Yeah. So yeah, so you aim for the back of the neck, and he's got a little piece of the helmet goes down there, and you clang it, and you see it dented. Like, you've obviously dented it, and it's sticking into his neck. And you land a crushing blow. He almost falls to one knee. But then he turns to face you. And that's it. He's still standing. All right, Bob. So your guys were delayed. What's your plan there?
So now my guys are gonna come in.
Okay, so they're just gonna charge
And
in.
yeah, and they're gonna aim for the face with the spears.
Aim for this face with the spear. So yeah, so this guy's gonna come over, and he doesn't have a spear. This one has a sword. The great sword is a 4. He rolled a 1, so yeah, he failed miserably. Loyalist 1 is gonna come in, and he also has a sword. I think the other one has a spear over there. So an 18 is a hit, and he's flanking, so that's a definite hit for 11 damage. Yeah, so he actually falls to the ground, bleeding to death. Diva wants my food in here. Alright, so he's on the ground, bleeding to death. And there's another one up there. This one is Yeah, what's up?
He's gonna come down and I guess murder the squire.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. He's going to walk over, and he's not going to finish it now, but he's going to basically coup de grace. So he gets the spear out, and he's just holding it with his hands like this. Jesus Christ, Max. What are you doing to him?
All right.
He takes the spear, and he's like lining up on the guy's neck with both hands. And that's all Michael's guys. All right, so we're back. I'm literally sitting here doing nothing. I don't know, Nas. I don't know.
Damn it, Nas.
Zara Orsolani is going to run in, and seeing that everything's well in hand, she is going to, I guess, try to coup de grace this guy too. So she'll walk over and start lining up her sword. But he's waking up. He was kicked awake, so he's actually not unconscious. So she's going to walk over and hit him once then. 25 for 10. That'll do it, yeah. So, big cut on him. And he's not wearing any armor. The ones that were sleeping are also not wearing armor. So why not put the armor thing on them, too? Alright, Thrune Loyalist 4. Oh, these all Michaels? Michaels already went. So the other Loyalists are going to come in. And yeah, they've basically got this well in hand at this point. Alright, that's a miss! Hooray! This guy comes over and tries to cut that guy, and he misses. Yay! Even though he's just sleeping on the floor. That's amazing. And that guy's on watch. Squire is this one is alive. So let's see. He's surrounded. He's gonna try to heal himself. Yeah, he does with lay on hands for 6. That's pretty good. He cries out. He says, "What's going on? Who are you people?" And he's looking around for a shield on the floor. He's grabbing for it. But there's so many people around that someone kicks it away before he can get it. And he just kind of protects himself on the ground, taking a total defense. And the other squire is miraculously still asleep because people have missed him while he was sleeping. So that's it for them. And Bob Elzoob, what would you like to do?
This guy on the ground with no shield. What do I want to do to him?
Use the flat end.
Yeah, alright, we'll do that. Alright, so, he's cowering, right? So I'll try to break his wrist with my hammer, I suppose. And if he dies, whatever.
And if he dies, whatever. Yeah, go ahead. Slam his wrist with your hammer. Let's see. He's on the ground taking a total defense, so that actually misses because of his defense. So he rolls out of the way as your hammer comes down just in time. And he's able to...
Well, I didn't move, so do I get to go again, or...?
No, you don't have enough attacks like that. No. Sorry, friends. Then your loyalists go, and 2 of them are going to hack at this guy on the ground. And they both have swords. The 9 misses, and the 14 is 14 is a hit. He's a 14 with the +4 from the total defense. So yes, they hit for 9. So your lackeys are helping. Your other lackey over there is going to coup de grace Squire 2, and he crits with the long spear, which does 34 damage, which I'm pretty sure murders them. Yeah, just straight up murders Squire number 2. That's all your dudes, and then Zara goes, and Zara sees that this guy's the only guy still awake, so tries a long sword, and she gets 2 swings, I'm pretty sure, yeah? Yeah, and the second one's a threat, why not? Not a confirmed crit, but does hit for 23 damage, and he's murdered too. Straight up murdered. This guy, the Reclamation Sergeant 1, is taken alive. Everybody else has been killed. What would you like to do, Mr. Boozlebob?
It's Bob Elzoob.
Bob Elzoob, sorry. Forgiveness, please.
We're gonna take this guy. We're gonna take this guy as a prisoner.
Okay, alright, you're gonna take him as a prisoner. Alright, Zara likes that very much, and she looks very forward to tying him up with rope that she has saved from the camp.
Bob Elzoob takes a step back and lets her do her thing.
Alright. Is there anything you want to do with these prisoners, or with Zara, or with anything else before we jump out of the scene?
No, we can jump out of the scene. Everybody can go back to sleep. Thanks for coming.
Fuck all y'all, yeah.
Loot him.
So,
Loot him.
that's a valid point, yeah. So
Peeps the outfit.
that's a very good point. So the
Oh yeah, I want the headdress. I'm gonna go rehammer the headdress into a normal shape.
yeah, so there were 2 squires, and they had some stuff. Nothing magical, nothing like that. Let me know if there's anything you want specifically.
Can I have that sword?
Which one?
There's only one.
The Masterwork Bastard sword, you mean?
Yeah, is that a good one?
Yeah,
Alright, cool.
it's a good sword. And there's a Masterwork longbow. Do you have a bow?
I think I do on the sheet, but I haven't used it.
Now you have a masterwork one.
Wrong button. Yeah, so basically add a +1 to the... Or there's a Masterwork drop-down or whatever. Yeah, you'll be +1 better to hit with it. I'll just write Bob takes bow and Masterwork Bastard sword. Boop. Alright. And there's lots of gear for other people, too, to outfit the rest of your friends. And you took 6 of them, so 6 of them will not gain any rest.
Wait, which sword did you give me?
Masterwork Bastard sword? Is that the one you wanted?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We can add it to your sheet later if you want, but...
Do I have to should I replace my longsword with that then, or?
If you want. Yeah, you can change that if you want. The damage is different. Niles can help you with that.
Damn it, Niles.
Take care of it for you, son of a bitch.
I'm helping you! Alright.
All you have to do is resync, you lazy bastard.
Right? Yeah. So you guys get back to your little forest camp, and everybody else is... All the other soldiers are dead asleep. They very much need the rest that you have not given the other people. But most people are asleep. There's very few people on watch. Rima is awake on watch, and there's just say one other loyalist is also on watch, but everybody else is dead asleep. And when you come back dragging one of the reclamation sergeants through, Rima spits on him.
Good.
And that's pretty much it. Rima asks if you're hungry. She was the chef in the prison, and she's still in this camp. She's kind of just cooking food, whatever people have hunted or whatever they've gathered. Are you hungry?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, Rima sees to everybody else and begins pairing meals for anybody who was hungry who went out on this. And that's it. Alright, so Bob Elzoob was having some fun in the forests while you guys were dealing with your own stuff. But we're back at the Little Uskwood, and let's see. You did that, you did the duck stuff. Alright, so back at the Little Uskwood.
We just did some time travel stuff, right? Because it was like afternoon, and then it was nighttime, and now it's afternoon again.
Yes. Bob Elzoob's thing is happening. Yeah, there was a nighttime. Yeah, so
Okay.
that was I guess last night. Like they went away and made their camp, and then you guys got your story straight, and then did the Oppian stuff.
Oh right.
And
Okay.
so that
happened last night.
Yeah, last night. Because last session
Okay.
Bob didn't get enough time, so I want to make sure that he did some stuff. But yeah, there was a little jumping around a bit.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify because
Yep.
it was ambiguous as to whether it was this coming night or not.
Understood. Yeah. Thanks for asking. It's not happening in the future. Yeah. So like the next time you meet him, that will have happened. That's what it'll be. So back at the Little Uskwood, you guys, how far away was the setting you set up, Nas? Like that's in the forest. How far away, or where is it exactly?
Pretty close. Like just off of the inn, like close, like that we were outside goofing around, and here comes this monster out of the woods.
Okay. All right. So I'm not sure who notices first, but someone was just around the little Uskwood when a very large Oppian, Phaedreth, and an obviously reinforced cadre of Glorious Reclamation soldiers arrive at the little Uskwood, sort of like making a show of force about things, and you can see them here. And there's a handful of squires and sergeants. Phaedreth Zane, which is the Razospore of the Glorious Reclamation, like the head mage, basically. He has a little halfling scribe next to him. And also Oppian's there in all of his almighty glory. And is Oppian a paladin? Yes, he is. He's very, very openly a paladin. And also, there was also among them is a 6th sword knight. In the order of Iomede's temples, the lowest numbers are good. Like the first sword knight is like a high priest, basically. So 6 isn't super high, but it's also it's not for nothing. It's a knight in their order. So they all show up, and as explained or as instructed, Loredana goes outside to meet with them because the more time they spend around here, the worse. Oh yeah, so Plotty and Houndy are hiding somewhere. Yeah,
Just in Iwan's room,
Yeah. Oh, and Loredana also got a nice rug to cover the hole in the floor that Boozlebob made. She put some planks down under it and put it there, and is mostly just hoping that no one comes in. So Loredana goes outside to meet with them. Would anybody else want to follow her outside, or what would you guys be doing when this started happening?
Sure, I'll just go outside.
Forrest would stay inside since he's evil.
Iwan?
Yeah, I think Iwan would just kind of sit at the table eating inconspicuously.
Okay. All right. So Oppian nods at Loredana. Sorry, he nods at Nero, and he bows very deeply to Loredana. He says, "Lady Viorica, whatever her name is. Yeah, Lady Viorica." And he says, we're here. I brought Phaedreth. We're here to investigate the talk of the skin shred monster. And Loredana also, does a bow, honorable thing. He's the mayor of town and a paladin in the Order of Iomade. And she does a graceful bow, and she says, yes, Nero knows more about that than I do. He'll be the one to guide you through that. And she turns and gestures to you, Nero.
Follow me.
Okay. Oppian looks to you and says, I'd be remiss if I didn't, sample a little, a bit of your good cooking. It is lunchtime after all. Perhaps we could sit down for a meal beforehand. And Loredana shakes her head and says, there's not a whole lot of time, and I'm very concerned about, the monsters are around my establishment. What do you think about that, Nero?
I mean, maybe let's make time for pleasantries a little later.
Phaedreth agrees with you. You hear him actually audibly gasp behind, like, finally, yes, let's be done with this. And Oppian shoots both you and him like a kind of a snarl. Like, and it's fine, let's do this. And the entire cadre of people are going to be following you around, Nero, so how would you like to do this?
So Nero basically is walking them around the thing, and he's explaining that it just came out of the woods. And he sort of sidetracks and starts talking about Zara. And he says basically, I got the Hell Knight to start eating yesterday, but there's some disturbing allegations coming out of there. I mean, it's really not okay that she's in prison because of her affiliation with this other government if you're looking for them to honor you as a sovereign nation. I mean, the what she told me was that all her magical gear is confiscated and was in your possession, Master Zane.
Federate Zane, he does nod when you mention that. He's like, yes, all confiscated items and evil relics are in my possession. And Oppian,
How's that not?
sorry?
How's that not theft?
He just shrugs. He doesn't seem to care about the morality of that decision so much. But Appian explains that well, how does he say? He's like, she stood against the revolution. She raised arms against us, and she was defeated. It's we didn't want to put her in the camp, but we were hoping to keep the Hell Knight orders out of all of this. But she rose the hand to defend the loyalists.
I don't like this at all. It's not honorable for her to be in prison for that.
He looks a little flustered. He's getting a little angry with the way things have been going. So he's like, "What would you have us do then?"
I don't know. That's the story she tells is that she's in prison for basically being a Hell Knight, which is how it sort of seems. If I hadn't done a turn at an Asmodean priesthood, I don't think I'd have been even able to convince her to eat. You think you're in trouble with a live Hell Knight? Imagine if you have to turn over a dead one.
Appian shakes his head and says, Julia is seeing to her welfare as well as she can. We've been assured that she's been giving, the highest level of, comfort for at least that we can offer a prisoner.
And Nero just sort of grumbles and is saying something about like a gilded cage and just continues walking them and starts explaining it's right over here.
Yeah. The last thing Appian says about it is that we hope to release her. We hope to be able to return her to her order. Once she calms down, once she has a cooler head.
I mean, she's just one. You could have just turned her loose.
He nods. Perhaps. But what it's done is done, and he gestures and begins following you into the forest.
Okay.
All right. So they all come with you, and do you do anything special during the explanation, or you just kind of show them the scene you put forth?
So Nero just sort of gives a cursory explanation of, you can see the claw marks here, and the thing came crashing out of the trees, and you can see where things were smashing into everything. It was just, I've never seen anything like it. And he just basically explains a lot of facts that are sort of like a little disjointed, but are sort of like, if he's sort of playing that if you're intelligent enough to put it together, you'll understand what he's saying. And then he makes mention of, you can see the scorch marks and this and that. The Needlese have the peasant magic that they feel wards off evil.
Yeah, and that's all valid stuff, especially the Needlese magic stuff. So as you're describing things, Phaedreth Zane is looking at everything very, very closely, and he's using magic spells to kind of detect magic and things like that, look for auras of things. And the little halfling scribe following him around is feverishly writing things down as he says them, and as you're relating things, and she's basically just keeping a record of everything that's been happening. And Phaedreth does a bunch of stuff, so let me roll some secret d20s. See what happens with Phaedreth. Oh man, you do not know what's going on.
Can I roll a spellcraft check to see what he's doing?
Sure. You can use spellcraft check to see what the spells he was casting.
Ooh, that ain't good.
Yeah, that's not super great. You can tell that he was casting some sort of divination spell, higher level than you've experienced, but you're not sure exactly what. So he's sensing on these things, asking his god, asking Iomedae for insight into the situation. But as he's basically just nodding along as you say things, and he's looking at things very carefully and agreeing with your account of things. He's saying that this does make sense. This, everything you said does seem to make sense to him as he's going along. And the little scribe is writing things down. And he buys it. He completely buys the story. And he says, the last thing he says is, you just say it came out of the woods? Did anything draw it here? Why was it here?
I don't rightly know how such things come to be.
He shakes his head. He's like, I know very little of the necromantic arts, but it seems some sort of foul necromancy is at play here.
I don't know. Could it be something based on Nidal or something like that? Could it be attracted to what this place is? I've heard terrible tales come out of that place.
He nods, and as Naz is implying, Nidal is known for undead and stuff like that. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens up there, and a lot of ghost stories that come out of that place. So Appian says, I don't know. I'm not sure if they'd be drawn to this place. You know, it was built by the trees of Nidal from was it the Duskwood or something? I forget the name of it.
Duskwood.
Yeah, the Duskwood. Yeah, you know, this is this is a possibility. But Phaedreth is kind of shaking his head and saying, I don't know. These spirits, when they're animated like this, it's usually something very strong or powerful that causes creatures to be created like this, unless someone's going around just animating corpses for fun.
If someone's able to make something like that, we've got a much bigger problem than a skin shred.
Phaedreth nods. He agrees with you. Anything else you want to do with the display? Okay. So everybody heads back to the little Uskwood. And Iwan and Vors, have you just been drinking with the Needlese the whole time?
Nursing a beer.
Okay. And Iwan?
Iwan would be like kind of eating, but mostly engrossed in one of her books or something.
Okay. All right. The Needlese are there. They're mostly quiet. You see they're a little fidgety. Like they know that Appian is here, and they know like the police are around. So they're a little fidgety, especially because they helped burn down a prison camp. But they don't say anything. They kind of stick to themselves and just mind their own business. When everybody's back at the main door of the Little Uskwood, Appian again requests to have lunch. We've come all this way. You know, it's only like getting 10 or 20 minutes outside of town, I think, is what we've been talking about. But basically, Appian is like, it's now that it's been an hour or so since we have the discussion. Can we have lunch now? Like, would you mind seating us for lunch? And Loredana looks back at Nero as if she has no other reason to say no.
Nero just shrugs.
Okay. So Loredana looks at him and says after a short pause, it would be my honor, please. And gestures for everybody else to come inside. And Brexter is hiding someplace, presumably.
Yeah, not the lobby.
Yeah, not hanging out in the lobby. So yeah, I'll move everybody inside just for giggles. But yeah, so Loredana is serving food to everybody, and Appian is sitting right at the bar and making casual, friendly conversation the entire time. This is maybe the first time you've seen him not look frustrated in a very long time. He's smiling, just talking with her about, how's business, things like that. Seemingly not caring about the town falling apart around him. What is everybody else doing?
I'm gonna go brush down Scarta.
Yeah? Okay. Yep, I gotta get out of here. Iwan?
I think Iwan would probably just keep her head buried in her book,
Okay.
So, as Loredana serves them, Nero sort of joins them, and every time Loredana comes over to the table, he's muttering little phrases, like little kinds of jokes in Needlese and that sort of stuff, and thanking her, but sort of like making extra, making everything a little extra, like, touching her on the arm, that sort of stuff when he thanks her and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's having like fully as intellectual a conversation as he can with Zane.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so Appian very visibly doesn't like that, but he's too refined of a person to openly say anything like that. But you catch some scowls from him, as if he's not happy that you're this friendly with Loredana. But Loredana is perfectly friendly with you. Like she's not interested in you romantically, but she doesn't mind any of these gestures you're doing, and it's making Appian angry that she's not mad about them.
That's the idea.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Give in to your anger.
Strike me down. So the majority of the soldiers are over on the bar to the left side of the building, but Phaedreth, Esquire, and Zane are over here at the bar, which I guess you're talking to them. And the Squire is actually standing behind Zane and just kind of relaying notes and asking, like, very quietly, kind of going to his ear. He's like, what was the thing about the scratches? And like adding things, basically. And Nero notices that she's compiling basically an official report, like an actual document with a wax seal of the glorious reclamation of what they believe happened at this place. And you haven't had time to look at it yet, but it seems to be following with a quick glance the outline you have stated. Basically, your story is the story.
Okay.
And that's happening, and you're having an intellectual conversation with Zane, who he seems bothered to even be here. As you're talking to him, he's like, yes, whatever. Like, are you bringing up any specific topic, or what?
He's just talking about the process of the revolution and the setting up the government and bureaucracy, and then he sort of lingers on what sort of magic items they've confiscated from this and that and the other thing. They can't have much in the way of unholy artifacts, this and that, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. So most of the things, again, he seems like he wants to rush to the conversation. Like, and when the food comes, he begins slurping it up quickly, as if he has no social grace and just wants to be done with the thing he's supposed to be doing here. But as you bring up some of the items he has in his collection, he says, you brought up Zara. Her armor is very unique. Have you ever heard of the Hell Knight armor?
I've heard of it, but I'm not sure. Let me...
Yeah, you know a great deal about it. Let me see if I can find out what it does. But I'm pretty sure...
Regardless, Nero will play kind of like, I've heard of it. Tell me about it.
Sure. Let me find it. Basically, it's a special kind of armor that has defensive properties and also intimidation properties. Like it can make like a devil appear on their chest and things like that. And he's saying it's wonderful. It's part illusion, but it's partially real. It uses energies from hell to power the illusion. And you see him again. He gets excited for the first time you've seen. He's not just angry to be here. He begins describing all of the very specific fields and things like that are happening inside of this magical armor. And you lit him up a little bit when you asked the question.
So what are you going to do with it? Doesn't sound very glorious reclamation.
He nods. He says, yes, the church usually has us destroy such relics if they can't be channeled or converted into something else.
I'm sort of the mind that magic is just magic. I know that there's terrible, awful things that are out there, but...
Phaedreth, he nods. He says, tools are tools. It's the hand of those who wield them that decide if they are good or evil. But some items, they're forbidden. They're forbidden by the church.
Sure, I've heard stories about swords that drain the user if they're good or drain the user if they're bad. I've heard of those sort of things, but
again, you're playing a little dumb, saying I've heard of, and he's very quick to like, oh, this is how that works, blah blah blah. You've heard of a holy sword or an unholy sword, and again he begins describing the properties and the magical auras because he sees that you're intelligent enough to understand when he's talking, and he likes talking to people that seem responsive like that.
Okay. So Nero will just keep along that vein and keep trying to get him to talk about whatever they've got.
Okay, yeah. I will take a note. Let me, Nero talking to Zane. And we can do some more stuff on the group when I have more of an idea what kind of items he has on hand.
Sure, dude.
Alright. What else do we got? So, yeah, you pretty much fooled all of them. And, Anything else you guys want to do before they leave?
Give Scarcha some carrots.
Oh, okay. You can give Scarcha some carrots.
You guys, you realize that, like, just because you're evil, a little evil, doesn't mean they're gonna, like, Bob, they might smite on sight. You, that's not gonna happen.
I'm
Yeah.
a newbie. I don't know how
They're
this
gonna,
shit
like,
works.
I don't like that guy.
It's true. Also, again, I want to be very clear that non-paladins, like clerics and inquisitors, they have to actually take out their holy symbol, say magic words, and it's very visible when they're doing something. And you can make a spellcraft check to see what spell they're casting. But paladins have to just squint at you as like a move action. But remember, they don't just do that all the time. They don't walk around squinting at everybody, because then they'd be like half moving everywhere they would go. It takes effort. So like
alright.
you have to make the paladin squint at you or near you. And also, since these characters have seen you before, they might have squinted at you in the past, and you didn't detect as evil previously. So you might be okay. You don't have to keep hiding from the paladins. It's not a bad idea to hide from paladins, but just so you know, and like Nas was saying, even if you ping evil, you have very faint aura of evil. You might not be a horrible monster that they smite on sight, like Nas is saying. You might just be a shitty person. You can't smite someone
Okay,
who's a
well,
shitty person.
well, if that's really true, then I might have Iwan kind of, as things are going on, move over and just, in a provocative manner, be like, so, you guys saw what was the deal over there? You got a plan to fix it yet?
Appian looks towards Phaedrith Zane, and Phaedrith doesn't know much more than Nero has already told him. So he says, he looks down at you and says, it was necromancers, obviously. The flesh was very old and rotten. I'm not sure how long that corpse has been around or where they'd gotten it from, but clearly witches, warlocks, or other necromancers must be involved here. We should put a bounty on such creatures, on their relics and fetishes.
Fine, if that's what you think. And she'll just kind of roll her eyes and look disappointed. And
He stops you and said, what would you have us do? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not the one in charge. I've been really disappointed by the leadership I've seen here. I'll give you guys a chance, if that's what you think's going on. But I just consider me skeptical.
He shrugs, and seeing you walk away, he's the kind of person that he doesn't have time for this, so he just turns around back on his stool as you walk away. And everybody, at the end of it all, the Halfling Scribe, as I said before, has produced an official report, and she presents it, she puts it on the bar, and Appian and Phaedrith Zane sign it, and they ask all of you to sign it as well.
Do they come
This
get
is
me from the
as
stable?
witnesses or something?
Yes, basically, like, does this correspond to the way you remember the events happening?
Yeah. Iwan has no problem signing that.
Boris?
Do they come get Vors in the stable?
Yeah, it's known that you were in the party, presumably. So yeah, they would be looking for you to sign it as a witness, if possible.
Yeah, I'll sign
Well,
it.
Iwan will go sign it, and then she'll go grab Vors and
Okay.
bring him in to sign it as well.
Yeah, and no one's eyeballing you yet, Boris. Yeah, so you walk in and you sign it. And Nero, are you also signing it with your hands?
Well, I suppose it would be weird if I didn't. So Nero signs it, and as he signs it, he lets out a giant burp, and he's like, "Oh my God! I apologize. Something's not sitting quite right."
Yeah. As you sign it, you do feel your stomach gurgle a little bit, but nothing seems to rupture forth just yet. But as you sign it, you do feel something tugging at your stomach. Stomach goes ice cold as the quill hits the paper. But that's it. They're happy, or as happy as they're going to be. Appian has made some more casual conversation with Loredana, but is a little angry at Nero's friendliness with her. And that's pretty much it. You guys want to do anything else before they leave?
No.
Alright, I'll just take them out. I make them invisible. Well, all right. So it's 6:30. What else we got left to do?
Steal halflings? Can we steal halflings?
You can steal halflings if you want. Yeah, right.
I don't know if we have time for that.
Yeah. So basically, that was you guys did the early morning, and that was most of the afternoon was spent with them. You had lunch, you did the things, you had a bunch of talks. So now it's like late afternoon and evening, and you guys have a little bit of time to do stuff. Also, the leadership still hasn't heard word about the camp. Like in all of this discussion with you, it was never mentioned that the camp was attacked. I think who was even was it Nero was even talking about. I visited. Jaleel was there. I don't think it's right. So no one reacted as if they knew the camp was destroyed yet.
Interesting.
So did I want to do anything else? I think do I have another Bob El Zub thing? I do. Bob El Zub.
Oh god.
So you're spending time with them. It's like this is now parallel to what just happened. So during the day, after the night you just did, your camp is still, coming into its own. You guys have seized some more weapons because you jumped that Glorious Reclamation Patrol, so you have some weapons and armor. And everybody that you didn't bring healed a little bit. So I can do that real quick. Just a little bit. But you notice they all still look very sick. Like they all, again, the sunken in eyes and very pale skin. They're a little more colorful than they were yesterday, but very much still pale and sick. But they seem in much better spirits having rested. The 6 people you brought with you did not get a very good night's sleep, and they are miserable. The 3 that you took without the armor, they still very much, they're afraid of you, and they're following your orders, but you can tell they're very sluggish and, like, angry. Like, they're just, like, languishing when they have to move. It's just painful for them.
They did a great thing last night, so they should stop being babies about it. But
Is that what you say to them? Or how do you
Yeah.
play it? What do you say to them?
turn that frown upside down. We did a great thing, boys.
One of them is just rubbing his shoulder, and it says, "It hurts, sir. It hurts so much."
Bob El Zub looks at him and says, "Well, don't worry, we can fix that."
He looks up at you and says, "You can?"
Sure, I can fix anything.
You're trying to intimidate them to believing you can do that? Let's see. What's their wisdom? This actually matters now. Not good enough is the answer. So yeah, you intimidate them again. Yeah? What are you going to do about it?
Can I smite his shoulder to heal it?
No.
No, you'll hurt him, dude.
Yeah, and unlike the paladins who can lay on hands, like the one of them you saw them do that when he was on the ground protecting himself, you have hurdy hands, yeah.
I mean, which one says it hurts?
We'll say with number 5, the one right next to you. It hurts so bad, sir.
Would you like me to remove it, son?
Remove what, sir?
That half of your body.
He shakes his head. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. It's
All
not,
right.
It does not hurt that bad, sir.
All right, then let's go get some food.
He nods. He says, "For Cheliak, sir."
Do you want to take a nap? You can take a nap.
He said, I prefer breakfast first, but yes, sir. If I could have light duties, that would be preferable, sir.
Yeah, we can arrange that. That's good.
All right, and again, he's very afraid of you, but very much in line. All the ones wearing the purple cloaks, they are soldiers. Like, they're actually trained military personnel in the Cheliaxian army or guards. So they do follow commands pretty well. Give me 2 perception checks, Mr. Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one was pretty terrible, but the second one was alright. You are reasonably sure that you have not seen Rima eat. Either in the camp or here.
Oh, that bitch.
Well, I mean, maybe she's just, eating the food she's cooking.
It's a very good thought. You want to do anything about it, or...?
No, I'll just keep my eyes on that for a little bit.
Okay. Alright. Anything else you want to do in the camp?
No, I'll just get everybody fed and ready to go.
Stop feeding them.
You say stop beating them?
Feeding them.
Oh. Why?
Alright. What else? So yeah. Oh, yeah, Nas, we didn't give Noozlebob any traits. Yeah.
No big deal.
We'll work on that. Yeah, so basically, like I said, you guys in the main party now have the late afternoon and evening to do whatever you want. And I think you heard grab the slaves was the plan. But there are also other things you have is you can look for the Thrune loyalists if you wanted to. I think Nero has a pretty good idea where they are. And that's everything that's happened so far.
Alright, well, how are you guys with disguises?
Not fantastic.
Not you.
You're not even there, Boozlebob.
I'm just.
You're
no,
not
I'm just
there!
saying. I'm not good with them.
I have a +10. Is that good?
So why don't we take some Needley's clothes, and we'll use some of the horse's hair to make ourselves look like the ghastly casters, and then when we take the halflings, then the guilt will be with them, not with us.
Sounds good.
So what are you dressing up as? Sorry, you dressing up?
So we're gonna sort of dress up in Needley's clothes, and then sort of do things like use some of the horse's hair to alter our hairstyle and make ourselves look different and that sort of stuff,
Okay.
so that we can.
I mean, who are we worried about fooling?
I don't want. If we are seen, I don't want people talking about Nero showed up at the halfling fishing hole, and both of our friends disappeared thereafter. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but they don't have to make it back to town.
My worry is not if there's just the two we need. My worry is if there's 5 or 6.
All right. I mean, I don't mind playing dress up.
Yeah, they're not gonna stand and fight becomes the issue. So either we're gonna have to put some people down, or we're going to have to understand.
Yeah, got it.
Boris says to Iwan, "Wear your heels, honey."
I took Nero away. I took Nero away, made him invisible. There he is. All right. So, yeah. So you guys are going to go do that.
Brexter's back.
Brexter's
In
back.
my-
Yeah.
He's in my quiver. He's in my quiver.
All right. And yeah, so we can go do the slaves real quick. So you're gonna say anything to Nikolai and the other Needlese as you head out?
I need you all ready to go. Understand?
They nod, and Nikolai says, "We'll pack immediately. Where should we meet you?"
If you want to meet us north of the halfling town, we could do that.
Okay.
We could just do a handoff, and then you could go on your way.
Yeah, he nods at the handoff. Like we'll take him and go. You know, I want to leave this place in the dust. This place is getting too hot for me. Ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys head down south along the Sedna River, which is the river that's on the side of the town. And it's still like late afternoon, so the sun's out. It's not like it's nighttime or anything like that. And let me know when this loads for you.
Loaded for me.
All right.
1 of 3 loaded.
1 of 3.
2 of 3.
How'd that fisherman get out there?
There's a fisherman and a fisher lady.
I only see the one.
Hit Control T.
Oh, there it is.
There's
There
two.
it is. I'm sorry, they're like camouflage on the rock.
Rub it in that you can see it, Dick.
All right. So let me see if there's anything to read about this. But yeah, you're just kind of heading down a path alongside the Sedna River, And you see a couple of small little halfling communities. Like I said, in addition to the ones that live in town, that work at the labor guild and stuff like that, a lot of the recently freed halfling slaves just moved southward into the forest and plains down there and set up little like shire type communities, like little grass houses and stuff like that. And this one that you're walking past now is a small community of fishermen, and you come across two halflings that match the description that Nikolai has given you. And basically, it's a male and female. They're twin halflings, and for whatever reason, he specifically wanted these ones, and he promised you 400 gold if you could return them. What would you like to do?
Okay. So,
shall these halflings take a nap?
if that's something you can do.
I think that's something I can do. So let's see.
Oh, let Vors go up and talk to them in halfling. How about?
All right. Well, I'll just stay alongside you in case anything, in case they try to run.
Yeah, definitely. What are their names that we're supposed to be looking for?
Jed and Leora.
I'll just walk up to them, and I guess as we're walking up, I'll just say Jed, Leora, inquisitively, to see if they react.
Yeah. Jed looks up and says, "Who goes there? Can I interest you in
I'll ask Jed, in halfling, what have you caught today?
Yeah, he basically starts listing off a couple, only two varieties of fish. He says some bass, some salmon.
And I'll just ask, is that Leora over there? Yeah, I'll just say, is that Leora over there? What has she caught?
He says, yeah. He starts chuckling, ha ha ha. And then Leora pops out from over one of the rocks and says, "Yeah, I'm here fishing too. Same kind of fish. Good fishing today."
Nice. Well, how much? How much are you charging? I haven't had fish in a while, so I was looking for a nice dinner.
It's relatively cheap, like a copper, we'll say. It's very, very cheap.
Okay, how many fish do you have?
Maybe they have a dozen on hand right now.
Okay, well, I'll take 6.
All right, yeah. So Leora goes and she goes to a bucket and she finds 6 fish. She walks over and she kind of sloshes through the river, and you can see it's up to her chest. Like, she's just a halfling. It's not that deep, but it's still up to her chest, and she's holding the bucket above her head. And she gets over to you and sort of realizes that she doesn't have any way to give you the fish. Like, she doesn't want to give you the bucket. So she initially goes to hand you the bucket and then kind of looks to turn it over. Like, how would you like the fish?
What about Jed? Does he have a bucket that he could bring over? I'll buy the bucket off you too.
Leora says, "You want more fish? You want all the fish?"
Well, I need a way to get sure. If Jed can bring his bucket over, I'll see what he has.
So yeah, she looks really excited. Her eyes are going wide, and she says, "Jed, he wants to buy more fish. He wants to buy all the fish. He said he'd buy the buckets too." And Jed's a little more suspicious. Says, "Buy the buckets." And
in this time, I'm studying Jed.
Okay. So Jed's like, buy the buckets. What do you mean? You can buy a bucket anywhere.
Right, but I want the bucket that the fish is in right now.
He nods. Oh, okay. He looks around and says, I guess maybe you don't have any other way to get the bucket. And Jed says, if I sell you either bucket, I won't have any place to put my fish in.
Well, what if you bring your bucket over here? We can put all the fish in one bucket, and then I'll buy one bucket, and you and Leora can share a bucket for the rest of the day.
Give me a diplomacy check to see how well you've been doing. You've done great so far, but let's just see how much finesse you put on this. And studying gives you a +2 on it, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. So yeah, he's like, okay, that sounds good to me. I can always catch more fish, I guess. And he just like his sister, he puts the bucket over his head, and he's sloshing chest deep through the water. And he comes back out, and he's as happy as can be, just soaks from the chest down. He's like, ha ha ha! And he just pours his 6 fish into his sister's 6 fish. And you can see that they're kind of writhing and still alive and barely fitting into the bucket. Like, I hope they don't jump out on you.
Oh, that'll be all right. We'll just put them back in, rinse them off a little bit. All right. So how many fish are in there? You said like 12.
12, yeah.
And like how much for the bucket?
I'll say a silver. I don't know. Buckets are complicated. But again, very very cheap for an adventurer like you.
Yeah. So I'll produce like a copper or like a silver and 12 copper for the fish, and like. I don't want to do this. And fuck, I should ask before. So yeah, like as he goes to pay him, he's just gonna grab one of them, whoever he's going to pay.
Okay, yeah.
So do I need to do a grapple check? Like,
Yeah. So Leora is the closest one to you. So we'll say that she reaches out. Jed's dealing with the fish buckets, and she reaches out for your payments. And you would make a grapple check is what you would do. Yes.
all right, which one is that?
Under offense, it's the hand punching the hand with a purple background. And because she's surprised and unarmed, she can't hit you. And she loses her dexterity to her combat defense.
It doesn't matter.
shit.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. You grab her by the cloak and actually get a really good grip on her small halfling neck. And you just pull her by the neck and you have her grappled. And now I guess we'll roll initiative because things are happening. Iwen, you've won and you've watched Voris just grab this halfling by the neck.
I think Iwan will ready her. Well, she'll take a step back, and then she'll ready her sleep spell in case Boars, for whatever reason, can't snatch the other one.
What?
Voris! What are you doing to poor Leora?
I'm not on initiative.
Oh, sorry, you're over in the other area. There you go. So, Voris.
I will. Like, how does grappling work? Can I strangle her until she passes out?
If you make another grapple check, you can pin her to the ground, and then we say at that point you're like actually strangling her, choking her out. Because right now you kind of just got her, but if you make another successful grapple check, you get her on the ground, you start. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you do that. Yeah. So she's pinned, which I think is this one. I made it. Yeah. So you got her pinned to the ground now, and are you actually want to be strangling her to knock her out?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's happening. That's fine. Leora, she tries to wiggle out, so she's not going to grapple you because she's too weak. She's going to try to escape artist out. She's trying to wiggle it. But that's not good enough. You have a 21 CMD, so you are just that much stronger than her. You're bigger than her and stronger and better at grappling. So she's trying to wriggle free, and you've got like your elbow or whatever on her neck. And she's not doing well, and her brother, Jed, behind her, is shouting, what did we do? We're sorry, what did we do? And Nero, it's your turn.
He's shouting.
Yeah, Jed is shouting. What did we do?
With him shouting, Nero doesn't want attention. He's just going to cast Hold Person on Jed.
All right. That's a will save for me. That's not good enough, yeah?
Let's see.
No.
No.
It's 1 plus the level, so no. The answer is no.
Yeah.
So he is also paralyzed, which is one of those fun ones. Go with that one, why not? Yeah, so he's paralyzed. So he's shouting, what did we do? What did we... And his whole body just freezes, and he's like a statue frozen in place.
Sap, get them out.
And his turn is wasted because of that. And what are you going to do?
Well, Iwan will just walk over in front of him while his eyes are still open and just go to him and be like, it's okay, it's all just a nightmare.
And are you putting him to sleep and in the sack? Or
Yeah.
just throwing him in the sack? Okay.
Yeah, she'll just get off the readied action, yeah.
Okay. So I guess they both make will saves, but they're probably both going to fall asleep. Let's see. No.
Nope.
Hey, whoa.
Whoa.
Pretty good.
Did they both resist, or did one of them make
I
it?
would assume that they both resist. Let me see. I think I have the.
Pulling it out for that, huh?
Yeah, they both. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, sorry about that. So they both resist, but you can still the statue-like one. You can throw him in the sack. And the other one, Leora, you actually have to choke out a bit, Vors, because I Win Spell didn't help you with it. But she's not making any noise, so Nero's not too worried about it. But you actually do. You choke her for a good 30 seconds before she turns blue and passes out. You're careful enough not to murder her, but you have an unconscious halfling woman now.
Bind, gag, sap. Done. Sap, bind, gag. Let's get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, good enough.
We do that. We do what Nero says.
We do what Nero says. Understood. All right, so yeah, you guys are all done. I'll just take you out.
With the fish.
With the fish, yeah. I have all
And
the
the
fish
bucket.
and both buckets.
So, and as they're leaving, Nero takes one of the gloves, these gloves that he's gotten from the Needleys, and he tears open the seam on it, and then drops it and trods it into the mud nearby.
Okay, smart. All right, and you guys head out, and I forgot where you told them to meet, but somewhere along the river or somewhere?
Yeah, just somewhere along the way.
Okay, yeah, so you meet in the clearing, and Nikolai and his buddies are looking especially jumpy as they hear you coming up like through the bushes and stuff. And what would you like to say or do?
It's done.
Sorry for making you wait so long.
Nikolai's looking around. Where are they?
And Nero just snaps his fingers and reaches for the sack.
You just plop them both out?
No, just puts them in a non-magical sack and gives them to them.
Oh, no, okay. A non-magical sack. Yeah. Okay, so you hand them a sack.
Yeah,
with two buckets.
we didn't put them in the magical sack. They would have.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
With
you
the
did.
zombie?
I thought
No.
I thought you did. Okay, yeah. So you put them in non-magical sacks. Yeah. So you hand them over, and Nikolai opens them quickly to investigate, and they do look like the people he said. So he's very happy. He nods and says, yes. This is them. My master will be very pleased. And he looks at Nero and he says, regrettably, about the payment. And he says, we stayed in town a lot longer than we had planned, and we spent pretty much everything that we had for this job. I can't pay you the 400 gold that we agreed upon.
Well, Boris pipes up. It's like, we don't necessarily need the payment in hard coin.
He says, would you barter? What are you interested in?
Well, what do they have visible on their persons?
Visible on their persons, not all that much. Just simple weapons and things like that. Manacles and stuff you'd expect a slaver to have. But make a perception check, Mr. Vors.
I want to study him.
Sure. Because you're +2.
Okay.
Yeah?
I study him.
I studied on killing you, boy.
I need to click myself first because things are
Yep.
awesome.
Yep. Yeah. So you notice, in addition to all the mundane gear, Nikolai has something kind of hidden underneath his cloak, which looks like some sort of like a vial or urn. Urn, not vial. Yeah, like it's big, like an urn.
So I ask him, like, well, does he speak common?
He does.
Can I? Okay, good. Because
Yeah, they don't only speak Needlese. Yeah, he sells
Okay.
slaves to everybody.
I'll ask him. Well, what's that there? Like gesturing at the urn.
He says, that's and you see him he looks as if he's trying to come up with something but can't come up with a lie for you. He says, that's and he looks down and says, it's a Discord bottle.
Should I do a knowledge check?
Sure, go ahead and make a knowledge
All of
check.
us.
You don't know, Vors. You don't know, Iwan. And Nero, you also haven't heard of this one.
To do.
He explains. He says, it's a Needlese invention. It's originally a cursed item, like an ever-smoking bottle, but cursed. It has the effect of causing people when you unstop the lid, it unleashes a odorless, colorless gas that causes people to become enraged, become frantic. It's
Say,
something.
well,
Good.
Oh, I was just saying, well, that would be very handy. I think we're very interested in trading for that. How about we hand over these halfling slaves to you? You go on your way and leave the urn with us.
Go make a diplomacy check, and if anybody wants to help him, you can make one against a DC 10 as well. And tell me what you would say if you want to help him. Let me know how you. Oh, we rolled a real one.
And perhaps we'll forget. And perhaps we'll forget that you bartered with coin you don't have.
Okay. Yeah, you can tell that he's definitely not very happy about this. But having worked with you on a couple of missions, he knows what you will do to him if he makes you too angry. And Nero's little diplomatic threat was enough to get him. He's like, that's not the Needlese way. I'm sorry sorry it came to that, but I couldn't leave here without them, and I couldn't get them myself.
We understand.
All right. Then yeah, so they're basically going to leave. And
What's the name? What's the name of the house you work for?
in Nadal, I don't know.
We'll just whatever. Nero's going to take down whatever house they work for. If everything goes to plan here, this area should open up again, and we might have a chance to do business again.
Okay. Nikolai is very angry. He says, let me know. Let me know whenever the Iomedeans fall and slavery is legal in Sheliax again. All right. So they're leaving. Goodbye.
We give them back the clothes.
Oh, that's nice of you.
I mean, we don't want them.
Yeah, I don't want them.
I don't want your stupid Needlese clothes.
Well, I don't want to be tracked, and I don't want none of that, so wash all that shit off.
So
Get rid of the horsehair.
That was the late afternoon, and we'll say the early night is when you guys get back and you make the exchange with Nikolai. What else would you guys like to do?
Take a bath.
Take a bath?
Do we have time to get out to the others? A lot of them seem to be in a bad way.
Well, we need to give Jonas time to do his thing.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
maybe
before
maybe I'll go into town, see if there's anything I can buy that might help. I think they're all sort of in a bad way.
Okay. Iwan, what would you be doing with the rest of the evening?
I don't think anything super important. Probably just continuing to study and, just kind of filling the time by reading your books like usual.
Okay. And Vors, if Nero's going into town to look for something to buy, are you going with him, or what would you be doing in the meantime?
Yeah, Vors will go with him.
Okie dokie.
Since his aura is very faint.
So, Naz, are you looking for anything in particular? What are you looking to do?
I mean, he's thinking that there might be, like, if they're having level issues, that he'll try to, if they're having drain issues, that he might be able to fix it with, like, lesser resto or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So just looking to see if there's scrolls of that around. I've got a couple already, but...
There's not a whole lot in town, but if you went to one of the churches, they could have one created for you, or they might have one they could sell you. But yeah, so basically the Church of Iomedae or the Shrine to Torag in town would be the two places to find scrolls of that nature.
Okay. So we'll go to the Shrine to Torag, and we'll also look in on the book place if we can. Sure.
So for those of you that don't know, Torag is like a dwarven kind of god, the god of creation and foraging and things like that. And the temple that used to be here is very visibly an Asmodeus temple. Like, it was built to be a temple to Asmodeus, but it was reconsecrated when the Glorious Reclamation took over to Torag, which is a lawful neutral... Yeah, like neutral Moloch. Good neutral, like, not so evil Moloch. Yeah. So there's lots of dwarves in the temple when you get there, Nero and Vors, which, again, is kind of odd. In Sheliax, dwarves don't congregate in large numbers like this. And yeah, what do you say? What are you looking to do?
He'll basically explain that he's a healer and that he needs to. I need to keep some things on hand, but I don't really have aptitude as a priest. I sort of have to make it up as I go along. I was hoping that you had some scrolls around.
And they do, yeah. So one of the novices show you to one of the higher level priests of the temple. Not an incredible anything like that. The leader of the temple is Kalsyra the Just, the Inquisitor. And you heard during the last town council meeting that she was in the Melendor Mountains securing trade deals with the dwarven tribes up there for like ore and stuff like that. So just some run-of-the-mill cleric basically directs you and takes you over to an area where they have some scrolls and potions and stuff like that. And yeah, there are lesser restoration scrolls. Would you be looking to buy 1, 2, or what?
Yeah, I'll just do 1 for now and see what we can do. I will take that off my sheet. And while he's there, Nero will sort of be like schmoozing them, and he'll drop a few phrases like Torag phrases in Dwarven. While he's trying to he's sort of cajoling them and like acting like he's trying to get a better deal than he is, but just really sort of giving them a hard time, and dropping like proverbs that someone who worships Torag would understand.
Okay. Make a diplomacy check to see the schmoozin, and also give me a knowledge check to see how well you know Torag's religion.
Sure. I'll do the whole thing where he stares off into space, but he should know some of it from the God Claw anyway.
Sure, yeah, certainly. Yeah, you know
I have a 20.
You got it. No, you know a heck of a lot about Torag's religion. So go ahead and make a diplomacy check to see how the schmoozin's going. Yeah, so it's going really well, and you haggle a little bit, which is something the dwarves enjoy doing. So you're not pushing too hard. You're not looking to get a really good deal, like you said, but you're playing the game and you're playing it well. And the little embellishes and flourishes with knowledge of Torag's religion, it really helps things go well for you. So yeah, you do manage to convince them to sell you the scroll at a very small discount. I figure it out whatever it is later.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah. So you buy a scroll of that, and hearing your troubles keeping things alive, they throw in 2 scrolls of cure light wounds for your troubles.
Nice.
And what would you like to do at this temple, Vors? You've never been inside a temple to Torag, presumably.
Nope, just kind of shadowing Nero, just listening patiently and taking it all in.
Yep. So you see everything he sees. Again, lots of dwarves, very interesting for the area, and they're all doing very they're very monk-like in their worship. They're very quiet and solemn, and they're going around and like looking at big stone carvings of different demigods and things like that, and kind of just contemplating in front of them. Is how most of the dwarves choose to worship. You good, Nero, or you want to do anything else while you're there?
No, that's it. Just making friends.
All right. Yep, and you're doing a good job. All right, we've got an hour left. So, there are 2 things that can happen. We can look for the Thrune loyalists if you want, or there's an RP conversation that Oppian wants to have with Nero. Because now that news is... Oh, you guys have been kind of going around town a little bit now. As you move through town, before we go to the next thing, news of Hardship's Hearth has now made it throughout town. Like, at least one of the guards got away. They didn't see anyone very well. They didn't see any of you because they were on the other side of the towers, the one that escaped. But news has now gotten around, and people have investigated, what exactly is going on. It's like even the commoners in the town are aware that Jalea has been murdered. She's brutally savage, like her skin was taken off, which is horrifying considering the skin shred monster was just defeated. Basically the entire camp was burned down, and there are corpses of most of the guards, and all of the Thrune prisoners seem to have gotten away. There are no corpses of any of the Thrune prisoners. And all of this is now common knowledge to like everybody in town. And as you're going around, you can get the sense of that as you're moving from place to place within town, and you're kind of just passively talking to people. It's on everybody's minds, and everybody's bringing it up. What's going on? What's happening? It seems like there's some sort of organized resistance. Like none of this, all these things happening at the same time. It can't be a coincidence that all these things are happening. What else?
So Nero will pass along as he's walking through the town. He sort of lets slip, seemingly on mistake, he lets slip that the demon that they fought, the fire demon, had basically said something about its master's hammer, and he wonders if this is something about that. And he sort of says it under his breath, but says it loud enough that somebody should be able to hear it.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't get the reference, but some of them do. Some of them do get that Tychus Groat did have a magic smithing hammer, and the demon you fought, the fire giant, whatever it was, at the smith was somehow related to him or somehow tied to his vengeful spirit or something like that. And yeah, so that is a story you have planted in their brains. So yes, you start talking that one up. One thing you notice is, unlike your experience in Longacre, like, this victory for House Thrune is not celebrated at all by the common populace. Like, in Longacre it was about 50-50, so whenever something good happened for your side, half of the town was excited in the streets and stuff like that. But this time, everybody is very muted, and they seem more scared and worried than anything else.
Okay. And Nero will sort of try to prod a few people individually about that, like, in terms of, like, what are you afraid of? You're not a sword knight. You're not a soldier.
It's true. Yeah, so anything else you guys want to do while you're traveling through town?
Pick up books.
Pick up books. Right. Well, did you want anything specific, or what books?
Damn it! I thought of something specific this week. I'll tell you more, but just basically books he's never read. A few books.
Okay. Sure. We'll do that on the Google Plus as well. Hopefully, remember this time. I'm usually lazy about that.
So let's say that after reading her books for a while, Iwan kind of goes out searching for the signs, like the bounty signs that they may or may not have posted. Mm-hmm. And if she sees any, she's going to do stuff. But while she's going around, she'll also sort of hear about the camp thing, and she'll be like, after kind of being like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe that happened. Like, here we go again. This is just like it happened in Longacre. You get this, you think everything's going all right, and then next thing you know, like, things are getting burned down, and it's like it's on repeat. And then she says, and she kind of like pauses. She's like, not to be cold, but that means that there's another spot open on the leadership council. And I got to say, like, I've been saying, and I think most of you sort of agree now, that this leadership is just not what we need. So we really need to start thinking about, like, how to get a change in leadership, and maybe this spot is the way to do that.
Okay. So a lot of the commoners you're talking to kind of agree with you that they do think it's a little morbid to be talking about it so soon after she was brutally murdered. But there is a position open on the council. It was created for whatever reason with the number of members it has. I think is it 6 or 7? Like, it's an Iomedean number. If there's a reason for it. So yeah, somebody should be appointed, and a lot of people are agreeing with you. And then maybe one of you guys should be on the council because you seem to be handling all the problems so well in town.
I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. We need to know better about the strategy here, and in fact, I would go so far as to recommend Nero for that spot. If so, think about that and spread the word. But like, again, I don't mean to be so cold, but, like, this is a serious deal, and we need to get on top of this. And I think he's the right guy to do it.
Okay, so I'll let you use diplomacy or intimidate if you want to. You're not exactly intimidating them, but if you want to make them scared, you can use intimidate or diplomacy, whichever one you feel.
I think she'll. Oh, that's a bummer.
Okay. Yeah. So Nero, why don't you give her one to help her out because you're traveling around with her as well. So maybe give her a +2.
And Nero basically chimes in with something like, I don't really crave power, but the thing that you can say about Cheliax is that there was order. You were safe in the streets for the most part.
Yeah. So Iwan, your talk goes over pretty well, and people seem a little unenthused when you finish it. But then Nero basically says, I don't even want this, and people are like, the guy that doesn't want power, let's give him all the power. He must be good. He doesn't want the power. But yeah, so people are talking about this now, that there is a town council position open, and that maybe Nero should be the one to fill it, since he's been so integral so far in beating all of these monsters. And he's helped with the labor guild a bit, I think, if I'm remembering properly, and things like that. So he's kind of known around town. So yeah, so those murmurs are floating around now.
And just as a quick aside, are there any bounty signs up, or has that not happened yet?
There are a couple. It looks like some guards are going on town putting them up, but there aren't a whole lot yet. What would you like to do to them?
Well, so if there are any that she passes by where, there aren't like people around watching her, so she'll kind of like look around. And for some of them, she'll just like rip half of the thing off angrily. And for the other, for like another one or two, she would, kind of like write a big hypocrite on it.
Yeah.
And like stare at it for a while and be like, yeah, like those assholes, and storm off.
Yeah, and the flyers do have very wording on them that you would find very angering, like witches and warlocks and foul necromancy and things like that, summoning the rotting beasts from the digging up your relatives and things like that, like necromancer scaremonger tactics.
Yeah.
Basically, like go out, find their fetishes, and it's like there's crude drawings of the kind of things you'd associate with witchcraft. But Iwin knows that they're not specifically necromancy things, they're just witch things that Phaedreth seems to be using incorrectly.
Yeah. So she's all like, she just basically tries to hammer on the signs that they're being hypocritical and racist and all that kind of shit. She's just pissed,
Understood. Good stuff, yeah. Alright. Slaves are done. And, alright, yeah, so that's pretty much everything. That was night, and then where are we?
I check back in with Jonas just to.
Oh yeah.
Just swing by, just ask him how things are going.
You can swing by, and there is a new ship, as he promised. There was a new ship that was due in before the Oath Day celebration tomorrow, and when you check by at nighttime, they've just started unloading it, and. Jonas says... Yep. Jonas says that he was able to acquire what you were talking about. Enough for maybe 24 people.
Excellent. How much did that cost?
I don't know. It's double or triple whatever the actual costs are.
Right,
But
yeah.
if it's chain shirts and stuff, chain shirts are like 100 gold right now.
Right.
Yeah, so hundreds of gold at least. If not close to 1,000 gold total. That's normal, so then you'd be doubling or tripling that. So
Oh, shit. Alright.
What's your plan?
I'll tell him I'll pay him after I've inspected the wares. And I don't even know how much gold I have on me right now.
Probably not that much, but we can take a look after the session to see how close it is. But yeah, so basically you say you want to go inspect the wares first?
Yeah.
Okay.
But certainly before transferring that sort of coin.
Understood. He acknowledges that. That's fine. You basically want to walk up with him up the river to find this thing?
If we can do that discreetly.
Sure.
And I didn't realize that I had just negotiated with money I don't have.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess I wasn't super clear about that earlier.
Very needleese of you.
Right,
Yeah, right.
Apparently that's what people are doing today. Yeah. Do you guys have thousands of gold for some reason?
I have a bunch
Collectively, I
of
think-
unspent gold.
How much?
Yeah. I think we should go hit up Roz at the tree and be like, yo, we got this lined up. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I'll make a note to figure out the money. I'll assume you have enough, though, because I'm pretty sure you should have, loot and stuff like that. You probably do have enough.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out. But let's say you are equipped to handle this transaction.
Okay.
Because it also makes more sense for your character to not be lying about how much money he has. So yeah, let's just pretend you do have the backing to do that. So yeah, so he'll take you out, and he takes a couple of his trusted dock workers, not all of them, just a couple of people he trusts. And you go out, and buried in the mud, wrapped up in blankets, you find there's a bunch of crates full of some swords, clubs, daggers, simple weapons like that, chain shirts, leather shirts. Enough to outfit, like I said, about two dozen people.
Excellent. So give him the gold then.
Yeah. All of the
Shake
wares
it.
are normal. They're not masterwork or anything like that, but they're also not rotting or anything like they're perfectly suitable.
Serviceable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he will take the money, and he offers you no help to move the boxes. He says if you want help moving them, you can pay these two, but I'm out of here.
All right. Did anybody else come with me?
We'll get the wagon and come down.
Yep. Because I don't want to leave like $3,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah. So how are you gonna? I guess you're gonna get the wagon. Like you told them to get the wagon at some point to meet you somewhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
We'll just hand wave it. You meet up and you have the wagon. You move these goods, and let's see if anything happens to you. Bloop, bloop. Nope, nothing happens to you. No patrols encounter you.
Hooray!
That could have been fun.
El Diablo Fantastico.
Yeah, I just have 3 crates of weapons and armor in this wagon.
What it just fell off the boat. What do you
Yeah,
want from me? I just picked it up.
I'm just a businessman. All right, so that was everything, and then it is going to be, I guess, nighttime for that day, and tomorrow is Oath Day, which is when they have a big open air market in the center of town.
That sounds like a perfect time to use that urn.
Yeah, we need to define how well this urn works and what it does. But move Shemaz a little bit with identify.
Yeah, we can do that after the session, but we can identify what it does. But Nero does believe it'll work very effectively on commoners. That they would just fly into a rage and like attack the nearest person, basically, is what you believe would happen to commoners.
Okay.
Have you guys seen Kingsman?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm envisioning.
I don't think I have seen it.
It's actually a really good movie.
Yeah, it's fun. There's a scene where they basically turn everyone into killers. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the effect of the urn. Yeah. So does anybody else want to do anything at night?
Are we going to rendezvous with
I was thinking we might.
Sure.
Roberto?
Sure. Do you guys have a set up meetup place or plan, or how do you plan to? What do you do?
I don't know. Do we know where they went?
Yes, basically when you split up, they kind of explained vaguely where they were going in the forest, and you would be easy enough to find them, especially because they have scouts going around looking for stuff, so they might notice you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we basically make our way there, and Nero is whistling loudly, and it's like the alma mater for the Order of the Rack.
Sure. All right. So Boozle Bob, or sorry, Bob
Nope.
Alzub, Lo Siento, Bob Alzub. How about you roll me a perception check? See which one of you hears it first. You or the Zara. Can you beat me? No, you cannot beat me. Yeah. So Zara hears Nero's whistling first, and she leads her and a couple of her loyal soldiers over to meet the party. And she bows before you, Nero. She's using your shield, by the way, still.
Yeah. I don't think you need that bit of rubbish anymore.
She says, "Oh," and she raises her eyebrows.
And Vors pulls back the cover that we have on the crates.
Let's say that the crates were invisible and that they're not invisible anymore.
Okay.
All right.
Sure. So the men with Zara are excited. They actually look to see, because you can tell they're wearing kind of ratty gear, or gear they pillaged from somebody that doesn't fit properly, and they're very excited. But Zara looks over the gear and she's unimpressed entirely, and she says, "This is garbage. This is common foot soldier gear." He says, "What of my equipment at Zane's Manor?"
I'm working on it.
She looks.
He's not working on it.
He's still working on getting Boozle Bob that dog. Yeah. So she looks unimpressed by the armor and weapons, but she appreciates that you will outfit everybody else with these things. So she thanks you profusely. She says, "Come on, we'll go to the camp." and she leads you to the makeshift camp that the people have set up. And Bob El-Zub is there. There's also a Glorious Reclamation sergeant, which has been taken alive. So Bob El-Zub, during all this time, presumably you could have roused him awake. Would you have, or would you leave him unconscious?
I would have woken him up and started breaking his fingers.
Okay, so yeah, you woke him up, and did you say anything before you started breaking his fingers?
No, I just woke him up. Started breaking his fingers.
Okay, yeah. So he's shouting, and he's not very happy with that. He's like, "What do you want? What is this? Who are you?"
I'm Bob El-Zub.
Is that supposed to mean something to me?
I mean, your fingers know who Bob El-Zub is.
He screams as you snap another one.
Bob El-Zub covers his mouth. With the palm of his hands, making sure to not get his fingers bitten off.
Yeah, so he's very unhappy, and he starts like spitting at your hand and trying to get your hand away. And he pulls away for just a minute, and he says, like, "I'm a sergeant in the Glorious Reclamation. You'll pay for this."
Bob laughs and says, "I know you're a sergeant."
And he just looks at you quizzically.
Bob takes off the sergeant's helmet thing.
Yeah.
And puts it on his own head and says, "Look at me, I'm a sergeant."
The sergeant is confused and a little bit afraid. He's like kind of looking up at you from the ground, very concerned.
So this guy's like tied up, right?
Yes, he's bound.
Okay, so Bob slaps him in the face and then walks away.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So when you guys arrive at the camp, Bob has interrogated this guy very briefly. So they have a bound, bloodied sergeant on the floor as well.
Nero immediately covers his face and pulls his hood up.
Boris follows suit.
All right. Zara brings you over to everybody, and she begins introducing some of the people. You didn't get a chance to get all their names when you were running out of the prison. But as I said a couple times so far, they have very pale skin, pallid skin, and sunken-in eyes, and none of you were able to figure out so far what's been wrong with them. But even the ones that were allowed to rest last night still don't look 100%.
Bob El-Zub suggests to Zara that we should go get some food.
Zara looks at you and says, is there not enough? How have the hunting parties been?
The hunting parties have been fine, but we should go get food elsewhere.
Okay. Specifically only Zara?
Yeah, I'm just saying this to Zara.
Okay.
Because I trust her.
Okay. Well, she goes off with you. What are you trying to do or say? Or you actually want to eat?
I'm going to convey to her that I have never seen Rima eat.
She looks at you and raises an eyebrow. She's like, what do you mean?
The others, I've seen them all eat, but Rima has not.
She shakes her head and says similar to what you said earlier. She's like, she's cooking all day. Surely she eats something.
All right.
If I might interject.
Did you follow them? Boozlebob, was this a
No.
secret conversation, or did
No,
you...
yeah, that's probably a secret.
Yeah, it was a secret conversation.
Okay.
But
You want to say anything else to her then, Mr. Bob?
I'm gonna say that we should tell. Wait, I know who Nero is, right? Bob El-Zub knows who Nero is.
Yes, he helped you get out of the thing. You know very little about him. You met him for like 20 minutes last night.
Bob says that we should ask the smart one.
Okay. So Zara looks around and says, "You mean Nero?" And she gestures over and begins walking.
Yes, the smart one.
You're not Boozlebob, by the way. You have a normal human intelligence, just in case you.
No, you know.
What is his intellect?
10. He's a normal human.
Oh, he's normal. All
He's a
right.
normal human. So you want to go talk to the smart one?
Yeah, we're gonna go talk to the smart one.
Okay. Go ahead and roleplay. What do you say to the smart one?
Great smart one. I have a question.
Do you
I have
mean
noticed-
me or her?
You are the smart one, dude.
Oh,
The
I'm
other
well
one's reading a
versed, but I
book.
think I'm well versed, but I think she's the smart one. Anyway, what's important?
I'll listen to.
I need you to stare at the food that our chef makes, for I have not seen her eat any.
Why not sit her down and make her eat? Does that sound fair to you, Iwan?
Yeah, sounds fair. I'll look at the food too, but yeah, if you're suspicious of it, just make her eat.
All right, fair enough. Let's all have a meal together then.
Vors studies Rima.
Okay, go ahead and study. But yeah, so you guys are gonna go talk to Rima, or what's the plan?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Rima and tell her that I'd like a banquet prepared.
She laughs and says, "A banquet under these conditions. Like this is even worse than the prison. You know, I'm dealing with what we've got."
We're making our own prison. We have a prisoner.
Yeah, she laughs and says, so it would seem. The shoe is on the other foot for sure.
Bob stares at her intensely and says, but please, cook for the men.
She looks behind you and she sees that several new people have come, like Nero and the rest of the party. She says, of course, right away. I'll do with what we have. And you have some boar and stuff like that and a lot of vegetables, whatever you could afford, berries, stuff like that. So she begins putting something together.
All right. So we're gonna wait for her to be done then.
All right. So she cooks and she finishes cooking, and she provides a meal to the party as well as some of the other members who were on patrol who didn't get to eat earlier. And she puts all the food down on little trays at a big table, a big flat place, I guess, not a table, in the forest. And she says, "Your banquet, sir." And she bows with a laugh.
Bob El-Zoob has a hearty chuckle, and he says, "Please sit down, eat with us."
And she shakes. No, it's fine. I've been eating all day. I constantly taste the food as I'm preparing it.
Please take a seat at the table. There's no table. Please take a seat.
She again refuses you. She's like, "No, it's fine. Don't worry, please. I love to cook for others."
No. Well, we love your cooking. Please sit.
She's fine, and she takes a seat at the table with everybody else.
All right. So Boozlebob is now smooth talking with her.
Oh, you're smooth talking with her. Okay, you're not just regular talking.
Smooth talking with her.
Okay.
And he says, so what is your favorite meal to cook?
And she says, "I've always loved breakfast, but we haven't had many eggs or anything like that in a very long time. Ever since they threw us in the camp, the Glorious Reclamation threw us in the camp, I've just cooked with whatever scraps they've given me."
Ah, yes. How do you feel about boar?
She shrugs. And says, it's fine, little gamey.
Boozlebob offers her some of the boar that she had just cooked us.
She nods. She accepts it. Says thank you, and she takes a big bite of the boar, swallows it.
So
Yes.
while that's going on, Iwan will pop in and just kind of say like, so what did you do to get special treatment in the camp?
She shrugs and shakes her head and says, I don't know. I guess I don't. I'm not a lot of trouble. I just I cook. That's all I do. They let me use dull knives, and they seem to let me walk around a bit. Vors sensing her motives is Iwan sensing her motives is not very well. And Vors, you have a +2 on this, right?
Yes.
Let's see how she's doing. Yeah, Iwan, you don't think anything. Vors, you think she's hiding something, but you're not sure what. But she's giving away small tells that she is hiding something.
If I squint at somebody, can I tell if they're good?
No, you can only tell if they're. Is it good or is it lawful? I don't know. I think it's detect chaos for anti-paladins or law. Let me see. Is it good? Might be good.
Is that good?
Yeah, you can detect if they're good. Yeah, sorry about that. So you can squint at somebody and see if they're good, if with the same restrictions as I explained to you earlier.
I just have to squint though, right? Like I don't have to hold up the sign.
It's a move action for you. Yeah, just like a paladin, you kind of just squint at somebody and you immediately know how evil they are. like in a 30-foot cone in front of you. How
All
many?
right, yeah. So I'll assume that she's like sitting across from me, and I'll squint at her.
Yeah, you squint, and she is not good.
Interesting. All right, well, this meal has been fantastic. Thank you for feeding the men.
She says, I do what I can with what I've got. He's like, if you find anything more interesting, more tasty out there, let me know.
I'll be looking for eggs.
And she smiles, and I'd appreciate that. Chicken would be miraculous out here.
I don't know about that, but we'll see.
Chickens can lay more eggs.
After it's over, Iwan will kind of walk up behind El Zub and unimpressively look at him sort of unimpressed and say, men and women were fed.
It's true.
I don't even know where your token is. So.
Was that Nero?
No, nothing. So?
Boars will pipe up, and he said, well, I don't really care for boar myself. Do you have anything that you cooked earlier today?
She says, Vor is the only meat we found, other than some rabbits and squirrels. But I have some berries and apples that they found in the forest.
Okay. That sounds good.
All right, yeah, she'll get you a small bowl of, or whatever, a small grouping of berries and an apple.
So Vors, what's going on?
She's clearly hiding something. I say we ransack her tent or whatever.
Yeah, they don't really have tents, but they do have like little sleeping areas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you give me a moment? Let me spend some time with her. I'll offer to help clean up, and we'll see what I can find out.
That sounds good. But yeah, she's definitely hiding something. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
It's probably nothing. It's probably something small, but I'll find out what it is.
People
I give you my
have given me-
word. If it's there, I'll find it.
People have given me less reason to kill them, and I've killed them. So
And I've killed them.
Think of yourself as her, what she is, what she's going through. She's not the seasoned veteran you are. She's obviously not someone. I can't even imagine how she got wrapped up in this.
Well, she can't be that intelligent because she sees how things are turning now, and she's still doing what she is to the men, like in some hope that somebody will reward her if she gets out of this.
Does it look like poison?
You can give me another heal check. I'm pretty sure last time you rolled very poorly and couldn't figure it out at all. But go ahead and let me look up heal. Because that's close enough that it matters. Heal check.
How do you do a heal check? Or you probably need heal, don't you?
Yeah, it's a
You
class
just
skill.
examine.
Yeah, so you roll pretty well, Nero, and you're pretty confident this is not a poison, at least one that you have seen. Like, there's no visible symptoms or anything like that look like a poison to you. You can tell now that their constitution is drained. That's what has happened to these people. Their constitution has been drained from them somehow. But you do not believe it was by a poison, or you see no outward appearances on anyone you've talked to.
When you say drained, do you mean statistically drained, or do you mean...
I mean removed from them. I don't know the difference statistically in my head right now. But their constitution has been taken away from them. It is recovering, but it has been taken away from them.
Okay, so let me go. When she comes back and then goes to clean up, Nero stands up and says, "Let me help you clean up," and he basically gives her the whole schmozzle and is just trying to schmooze his way into helping her clean up.
Sure, she's very receptive of any help you'll offer, and she helps you take away what passes for dishes here and things like that. And she has a little cooking area next to a little bed of leaves and things that she's been sleeping on.
Okay, so Nero will just continue to make small talk with her. and you guys watch, and it's kind of scary to watch. He looks almost like he does when he blacks out and is completely oblivious to everything around him and then plucks a random fact out of the air. He sort of becomes like that. He's studying her almost like she's an insect. And he's still charming, and he's still talking to her, and it doesn't seem that she notices, but you guys watch him, and he's like basically dissecting her with his eyes to figure out what she's hiding. And he's just asking her leading question after leading question, and every time someone comes over near them, he stops and seems to lose focus, and when they go away, this sort of laser focus comes back on.
All right. Are you trying to sense motive on her too, then? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'll schmooze her for a bit and then try to sense motive on her.
Sure. Give her diplomacy and a sense motive. Why not?
Sure.
Yeah. So you definitely get her. She's pretty chatty and friendly with you, so you got that going.
Okay. So Nero basically tries to gently talk her into a corner. He gets a +3 on this because of his legalistic curse. I'm going to burn a hero point for a +8. And
That's not good.
there's something else. There's something else where I get a bonus, but I'm trying to think what it is.
Is it your deific obedience? Is that in yet? Is that...
No, that's in, but that's knowledge checks. Something about the legalistic curse.
Maybe see if you even need it.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
roll,
right.
roll sense motive and see if your +11 isn't enough. Yeah, so 33. Yeah, so you notice that even though she's being very, friendly with you and nice and comfortable, she definitely is hiding something. She's definitely not telling the whole truth. She doesn't seem to be nefarious or evil. You don't think she's poisoning anyone or anything like that, but she's definitely hiding something, and you rolled well enough to you should find something else out. Unlike the others, she hasn't been drained by the halfling ghost or whatever, so she's one of the creatures that hasn't been drained, which I guess is why you might have suspected she was poisoning people. But she also, in addition to that, seems fairly resilient. Seems hardier than the other people. Like someone who was a prisoner and had spent a night or two in the forest should be more beat up, Nero believes, and she's apparently very well. She's in very good spirits and very good health.
I'm gonna level with you. There's a little bit of discussion going on about you.
She looks at you curiously. About me? Why?
And Nero basically is everyone's drained except you. All these men are exhausted. Even the ones resting in the woods, and you're somehow not, even though you're working over a hot stove all day. If there's something that you're not telling people, rather than not have them trust you, you can trust me not to tell them. But you should tell me. Are you devil blooded? Is what's going on?
She shakes her head when you say devil blood, and she looks like she's scared that you would even bring such a thing up. And she says, No, I'm not devil. No, not devil blooded. And she says, I don't know. And she's quick to point out that both Bab el-Zub and Zara were also not drained, and that she doesn't sleep with the other prisoners. She slept in the kitchen area, and she never saw the halfling ghost that they claim to have been attacked by.
Still, you're not telling something.
Go ahead and make a diplomacy check. Or if you're trying to scare her, you make an intimidate check.
No, he's trying to be gentle about it, But Zara, if I don't believe you, and Zara doesn't believe you, who do you think it's better to have on your side?
That's a valid point.
I know what it was. It's that he promised that he'd find out what she was doing. That's why he got more. So it was an extra +4. That's why.
Yeah. So you're basically just trying to pry stuff out of her. And she's let me see what I can do here. I'm gonna make a will save. Not super great. Yeah. So you're trying to pry facts out of her, and she just eventually blurts out that she's here for Linton. She says, Linton put me here. Linton sent me here.
Who's Linton?
The alchemist.
Ah. So you report to Linton.
She nods.
Understand, if you tell someone else this, it'll be the end of you. Do you understand?
She looks very afraid and nods silently.
Your secret is safe with me. I will tell only trustworthy people, people who won't bring harm to you. All right?
Again, she nods silently and begins to thank you profusely.
Your contact to Linton now goes through me.
Yeah, so she looks again quizzically and wide-eyed, and she says, oh, okay. Does he know this?
He doesn't, but he will.
Okay.
Are we in agreement?
Yeah, she nods again. She's scared and confused, and she's just like, "Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier. I didn't think anyone would know."
It's a big secret, and now that we know, it's not going to be an issue. So long as you toe the line with me, I won't let any harm come to you. Okay?
She nods. She nods. She's very happy with that exchange. All right. And we have 20 minutes left, so I don't have a good segue into this. I'm just going to do it so we can do something for 20 minutes. Oppian wants to talk to Nero and Vors and Iwen. Well, I guess you guys are still at the camp, so would you go back, or what would you do with the rest of the camp? Sorry, before I do anything else.
Yeah, I'd wake up with the little Esquid.
Yeah. Let's prepare the camp to move tomorrow. During the day, let's try to get you. Someone said there were sympathizers out in the woods. There's a system where they hide, correct?
Yes, and the Glorious Reclamation hasn't been able to find them yet, and none of these loyalists know exactly where they were. These were the ones that were either caught in town or stayed in town, not the ones that got away to the forest.
Okay.
But there are a bunch of places they can give you ideas, and you've already done a divination. I forget which type you were doing, an augury or something.
I'll do another one. I've got a better one now.
I think you've got a really good place, but if you want to burn another spell, that's good too. But you have a pretty good handle on where you should be going.
Okay. So this area will be hot tomorrow. We need to move you early tomorrow.
Okay.
And we can take this to Google Plus, but we probably would also interrogate the sergeant.
Yes. I'll do that in the Google Plus as well. All right. So you guys are I guess you guys are heading back to Little Uskwood, and Bob Elzub, you haven't done anything in a while. So, what's up, buddy? What do you? As they're leaving, and basically the next morning, they said you guys got to be ready to move. What do you want to do?
Bob Elzub's going to make sure that his men have a good night rest.
Yeah, you're gonna let them rest.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him. Well, yeah, so we have to go. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's armed now, so I'm gonna take these armor debuffs off them. Everybody now is fully armed and fully armored in whatever they prefer to have.
Yeah, but Vors didn't tell me. Vors didn't tell me.
Well, they drove up and they made boxes uninvisible and stuff.
Yeah.
Like people are hooting and
No.
hollering.
I'm not
They're
talking
very
to you.
happy.
I'm not talking. I'm talking to Matt.
Oh. Sorry. Oh, sorry. My bad. Yeah. So yeah. So what else? What else we got?
So Nero didn't want anything to do with the sergeant, right?
I figure we'll chat him down this week. You guys can chat him down.
All right, I'll break both of his legs.
Okay. Sure. But you still want him alive, yeah?
No, I'm not gonna break his leg. I'm gonna break his ankles.
Okay. That's fine. You go up and you smash his ankles, and he howls in pain. He's not even trying to be stoic or honorable about it. He's in immense pain. Like, did you break only one hand's worth of fingers, or both of his hands?
I only broke like 3 of his fingers.
Oh, so okay. Yeah, so he's in tremendous pain. You just shattered his ankles now, and he's bound up and not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So while that's happening, you guys get back to the Little Uskwood, and Laura Donna informs you that Oppian had come by again after hearing about what happened at the whatever, the Hardship's Hearth, the prison camp. He is even more flustered than he was before, and he was looking specifically for Nero, but also the rest of the party, to talk about defenses and strategy, because you brought it up, I think, at the last town council meeting, and Appian hasn't really made good on his promise to talk to you about it, but he is very much interested in it, and he'd love to talk to you either tonight or early tomorrow morning about defenses for the Oath Day Market.
Do you guys want to go tonight?
I don't have any problem with that. Sure.
Yeah, it's a little late, but
We should-
it's not too late.
We should certainly make it seem like we think it's urgent. So yeah, let's
Yep.
do it.
All right. So I won't move maps or anything, but I'll bring Appian back. So Appian's there, and he has a bunch of his guards or whatever, but he summons you to the mayor's office or whatever in Cantaria, city proper. And you guys arrived, and everybody went. The three of you did.
Boars one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so he comes up and he summons you to his place, and he says, Nero, Iwan, Vors, thank you for coming. And he gestures for you to sit down in front of a big table with a bunch of maps and things like that of town.
Yeah. I can't believe she led a revolt. I can't believe she got them all out.
And he looks at you and says, who?
I mean, the word's all over town. It had to, the only one, as I understood, that was any danger was Zara, right?
He nods sagely and says, Zara. Most likely, yes. She might have escaped somehow. Julia might have let her guard down or let her out, or she was always too permissive with that one.
This is bad. This is very bad.
He nods, and you can tell, in addition to him being kind of, he's got like a furious scowl in his eyes, but he also looks genuinely afraid for maybe the first time, like things are slipping away. And he says, I don't know how this happened. I don't know that they burned the entire thing to the ground. And he looks shocked.
So how many got away?
How many were there? Like a dozen? Let me see. How many were there actually? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So he says like a little over a dozen, perhaps. There weren't too many loyalist soldiers in town.
No, the guardsmen. How many guardsmen got away?
Oh, he goes, oh, just the one. One squire got away.
Just one?
And again, he looks shocked and a little sad. He looks down a bit as he says, "Yeah, like, half dozen squires and halflings volunteers were made in that camp. They're all slain. Some burned alive, it seems." And he shakes his head and says, they value nothing. They destroyed everything. How do you defeat an enemy that's willing to do that?
I hate to say it, you have to adopt some of their characteristics. I would think history tells us that.
You see him kind of shake his head as if he doesn't agree with the idea of abandoning ideals or things like that, but he's interested to hear what you have to say. So he kind of just gestures for you to go on. What do you mean? What should we be doing?
Well, I nothing in specific that I can think of off the top of my head, but if you think about the Crusades that the Hell Knights led against the demons in the north, they adopted the savagery of those monsters, and that's how they drove them back.
That's true. So yeah, so he nods, and this is you're telling him things that he kind of knows in the back of his head, things he's heard before. So interesting. I'm not sure about that though. And he looks to the others, Iwan and Vors. Do you have anything you want to add?
Well, you could also play up to them a little bit, right? So they're at this point like they're trying to break spirits clearly with what they're doing. Like they're trying to break spirits. So, and like they're gonna come when they know that spirits can be broken. So for a thing like tomorrow's event, like that it would seem is going to be where they would really come to put the final nail in the coffin.
That is why I've summoned you here. Tomorrow's Oath Day Market has to go off without a hitch. It's a weekly event that people from all around the surrounding hinterlands and up the river come to our town to do this, to trade their goods. And we can't have such an event like that being tarnished. We can't have the name of this town, dragged through the dirt again. We need this day to go off without a hitch.
I mean, assuming they don't really have enough men to attack the town en masse, if I would think they'd go into hiding, wouldn't you?
He shrugs and says, "I have no idea how brazen these people will be. They destroyed a prison camp, and presumably now they have a small army if they're fit to equip them." He adds, the Oath Day market is a very tempting target. I'm not sure if they're brazen enough to assault it in the middle of the day, as you say, but it is certainly a tempting target.
Well, do you think instead of attacking the market, would they use that as a distraction and focus on some other target? Like, are there any other areas that you're concerned about?
He points to he rolls out another map of Cantaria. Maybe I'll jump you to that map. Why not? All right. And if you zoom out, number 12 on the map are the sword towers, which are basically the big long watchtowers with a big sword of Iomedae with a permanent flame in it. They have no official walls around town, as Nero was apt to point out, but they do have those 3 towers. And Appian points to the southern tower, and he says, here we have a lot of healing supplies and things like that in the southern tower. This is something we should need to protect. We need to make sure that they aren't able to destroy. He points to number 4, which is where the market actually happens. Number 4 is the big open air market. He says it's very hard to defend because it's right up against the edge of the town. There's, again, no walls, no ditches, anything like that. And he looks to Nero for expertise in how to best defend against that. If people just want to rush through the fields, he says, there's very little to stop them right now.
So, I mean, if you set up blockades, making it tough to get in, if they have less entry, you wouldn't be able to make much, but you could make some sort of wooden wall, maybe planks on logs, bury the logs so that even if you battered them, they wouldn't go down.
No, he's nodding along, and he's mostly agreeing with you. You seem to have more tactical mind than he does. But he does propose, like, the labor guild could be used. I'm certain they would dig trenches and help to protect the town, if we paid them.
What do you think?
Fabian, how competent are your archers?
He says that the majority of the footmen are decent archers, but not especially proficient. The sergeants are much better with their bows, and there's always the halfling slinger volunteers.
I'll offer another potential strategy. I've studied a lot of different types of magic. I'm not one for illusion myself, but do you have anybody who is is good with the illusory arts?
Appian says Phaedreth Zane is known to dabble in illusions. It's not a master. It's not his primary objective and his primary study, but I believe he's good with the illusions. What do you propose?
Could he make it seem like our defenses are stronger than they are, or could he make it seem like the event was happening in a different place?
That's really smart.
Yeah, he's very intrigued by this. He says, I'd have to talk to him about that. I'm not sure the power of his illusions, but it certainly seems possible. What do you know of them?
Well, as I mentioned, only very little. I'm well studied, sort of, in general with magical arts, but I don't have very much experience myself with them. I simply know that if somebody's powerful enough to use them, it could work in a case like this.
Okay, that's a very good idea. I'm going to write that one down. Because I'm pretty sure Zane can pass some decent illusions. Yes, what's up?
So after Iwan suggests that, she kind of like reflects for a second and says, I hate to bring up an uncomfortable subject here, but as I'm thinking about everything that's happened, especially given that you mentioned that there were almost no casualties on the other side and that your men all perished, it kind of reeks to me of an inside job. Before we start talking to Zane, are you sure we can trust him? How solid?
Yeah.
How solid do you think he is?
He's immediately taken aback, and he completely trusts Zane. He says, "I've known Zane for over a decade, and I could not believe that he would do such a thing. An inside job is something I could see. It seems feasible, but I don't believe he's involved in the slightest."
Well, who else who could have possibly pulled that off or would want to?
He starts listing off a bunch of just. Actually, I don't even know if he has anybody. I don't even know who he would list off. Michael Mosky hung up.
Academically,
Yeah.
if there was a one-man person that could do that, it would be someone who was a wizard, for lack of a better term.
I agree.
Yeah.
I understand you trust him, and if you trust him, that's enough. But that's from an academic perspective, it's an interesting point.
You see him. He does ponder it for a moment, and he shakes his head again and says, "I still can't believe that. What you say makes sense, and I do not doubt that there are some foul magics at play here. Zane himself said some sort of witches or warlocks may be at play, but I don't believe that he himself is. I don't think he burned down the prison camp. I don't believe he killed all those squires and halflings."
Well, he might not have had to do it himself, like with all the magical equipment that he's been hoarding. He could have equipped a small group of people to do something like that.
He looks at you very interested, Vors, and he says, "Are you saying he could have been corrupted by some of these magic items?"
I've heard of it in the past.
He takes that very seriously. He says, he's been sequestered in that manor of his for weeks, and he seems even ever more frustrated every time he comes out of it.
I suppose it would depend on what kind of items he has. That would be something very powerful indeed.
Yeah, he's nodding along. He says, I still can't believe that he would be able to get away with something like that. I still don't. Well, sorry, I don't believe he would want to do something like that. I still don't believe he's not evil. He wouldn't have murdered all those people and let all of the Thrune loyalists go.
Well, if he has been dabbling with those items, and if they are as powerful as they may be, like, he may not have his wits about him.
Interesting. Nero is looking from the two of you, and like he is genuinely surprised at the conspiracy theory stuff that's coming out of you guys. Like, but he's playing right along with it. But he's like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I want to give Vors a hero point for that, because that's a really good, believable way for Oppian to not like Zane, and that is very difficult to do. So please, sir, take a hero point.
Woohoo!
And he is genuinely suspicious of one of his closest allies now. So congratulations.
Interesting. That's really interesting.
So in addition to that, we have about 5 minutes left, so let's wrap it up. But he has a bunch of puts this map out in front of you, Nero, and he's asking for lots of tips on how to best secure this area. And in doing so, he's explaining to you all of the defenses they're setting up. So we'll start the next session with you'll have the morning, and then in the mid-afternoon it'll be like the bazaar is in full effect. So we'll pick up there. But if there's anything you want to specifically do, if you want to specifically sabotage the thing in some way, or say put the guards here, and here while you do something there, we'll talk about it on the Google group, and we'll set it all up for next week.
Cool.
All right. Anybody want to do anything else? Michael Mosky, did Bob Elzub get enough playtime?
Yeah, Bob's good.
Hey, right.
I think we would probably just sort of end by saying, let's let this play out. Let's, Zane should have a chance to prove himself, but let's make sure we understand what his exact plan is, assuming he's going to use some of this illusion magic, and we'll just, we'll monitor it from there.
Okay. And
And then-
yeah, Oppian's
and then-
he's receptive to that. Yeah.
Offline, I'll say, we can start to think about how we might want to sabotage it to set him up.
That's a good point. But then there'd be 2 spots on the council.
Interesting.
All
That
right.
goes good.
So MVP nominations. Anybody who likes who for doing what?
Vors, your diplomacy and making a sense motive check have been off the chart this sesh.
Yeah, those rolls were ridiculous.
All right, we have one.
There's a lot of good stuff this session, actually.
Anybody have anybody else?
I'm happy to vote for Vors as well.
Guy will third fours.
All right.
All right. Well, that's it.
Then Vor's
I
nine.
I would certainly honorable mention. I'm trying to think what it was that you did, Jeff, with Iwan that I was like, oh fuck, oh that's really good.
What was it?
I
Trying
can't
to
remember.
Was it with the halflings at the river?
No, that was
There
like
was-
one of her worst moments.
No, that was also Vors with the choking line.
That was also
Hey, bring me
with
those
the-
fish! Clock!
Yeah.
I'll buy your buckets and everything. I don't care. I'm rich.
What else was going on? I'm trying to think what. Damn it! What was it? What did we do?
I'm scrolling up to see what it might have been.
There was something where I was like, oh shit, that's ridiculous.
I really thought the only 2 decent things were the illusion thing and the starting the conspiracy thing. It was really,
I like the.
But I-
Those were really good.
I don't know. The only other thing I really remember her doing was like going around, campaigning for Nero.
Yeah, that was
And-
that. Maybe that was it. That was
I
like
don't mean
a really.
to
it
be
was like-
grim, but there's a slot, right? Like there's an election. Is there a special election? How does that work?
It was very slippery though. I was like, yes, okay, yeah.
Well, and just referencing that, like, this is exactly how it went down in Longacre, like, kind of playing that up, It's like it's a nightmare. It's happening again, that kind of thing, yeah.
Do we have a moral?
I'm trying to think of anything that your brother said. I didn't write them down because I was looking for the.
It's Bob Elzou, sir, is the only thing that has moral attached to it in the chat.
Everyone loves money.
That's true. Spoiler tag, everyone loves money.
Yeah, we can go with that.
Okay, sure. Spoiler tag, everyone loves money. Alright. That's it. I'm gonna stop the recording and